So, hello everyone, welcome to this broadcast of the tournament at the Black Knight, Svarta Hästen in Stockholm. It will be a BLITZ event, and even though it is a BLITZ event, I can assure you that we will see some really nice games because we have some really strong grandmasters here tonight that will be playing against the locals. First of all, we have George Meyer, the very strong German grandmaster. Beside that, we have Galperin, and we have Sivuk, and we have Erik Blomqvist, we have Pia Kramling, not the least, we have Juan Bayon. All of those grandmasters will participate in this tournament. We will play 13 rounds and it will just go on like this, and I will try to follow as good as I can. It will be 3 minutes games plus 2 seconds per move. And well, we are ready, and I know that they are preparing downstairs, and I am commentating on the first floor, and I'm looking forward to see the games that will start. And what I will do is that I will follow 2 games, the 2 top games each time. And here we have, first of all, we have Georg Meyer playing against Oliver Wedberg, and then we have Bernhard Huber playing against Platon Galperin. Well, I'm looking forward to see what will happen in these games. There is no doubt that in the first round of this type of tournaments, normally the Grandmaster will be clear favorite in the games, but still, you know, it's a blitz game, everything can happen, so let's see what's happening. Svarta Hästen, the Black Knight that we are at right now, is the new, very nice chess and wine bar in the very center of Stockholm, and it has been a great success, this place, so it's growing every day. There is a chess club now, there are events more or less every week, there are training and so on, simply because it's such a nice venue to be at. Okay, so now the game has started, and you can see that we have a position where white has made a fianchetto with a bishop. That means that the bishop is here on g2. Black is going for a quick attack, as you can see, putting up the queen here, the bishop here, ready to try to go for bishop h3 and then run with the h-pawn. The danger with this, as always, is that the drawback is that you do not develop your pieces. And the classical idea when it comes to how to play against these kind of ideas is to try to make a breakthrough in the center. Like, for example, I think that a normal move could be like c4, just to try to do something like that. And you could say that what happened was after h5, c4, e6, knight to c3, knight f6, bishop f4, normal play. And as you can see now, it's not so easy to see how black will be able to play h4, because of course the idea with playing like this is to go for h4 and make use of the rook like this to come down here. The king most likely wants to go to the long castle, but again, as you can see, that what white is doing now is to start to put pressure on black. And the problem now is that if you swap off on e5, the pawn will probably take back, and then you will win the pawn on d5. So already here you can see that black has got a little bit of a trouble, or at least some type of problems that need to be solved in this game. So let's see. Then we have the other game. This was Bernhard Huber, 21-45, playing against Platon Galperin. And here we had, well, it is an interesting opening. Just quickly, let us move through the game. As you can see, we have like, it's sacrificing a pawn already here. And normally there should not be any compensation for this for white, even though there is some quite heavy advantage when it comes to time in the attack. As you can see, black and white has got kings on different sides of the board, which means that you want to go for an attack, and white is quite a lot ahead when it comes to that, but again it has costed a pawn. So h3, bishop take, g take, rook b8. Of course, when the kings are at different sides of the board, the normal thing is that you go for a push with the pawns, and that is of course what black is preparing, is to play like b5. White's normal idea is to go for, of course, go here, try to open up files against the black king, and well, at least a little bit dangerous. And I can tell you that when you play such a high-rated player like Galperin, if you're playing white, sometimes it can be a good idea just to try to make them nervous, not the least when it's a blitz game. Some easy tricks can be there that you miss. So a little bit dangerous, even though it should be better for black due to the fact that black is 1 pawn up. Let's go back and see the George Meyer game against Oliver Wedberg. And you can see now what happened was knight e5, queen had to go back, then yes, queen a4, putting pressure on the knight like this, and castles. We can see knight takes c6, b takes c6, queen takes c6, and what happened was that white now is 1 pawn up. I think that white could even maybe be more than that, because it can take on d6 and then take on d5. And no doubt that the black strategy to make a quick attack has failed. Now you can see also you had to castle, and now this move like h5 is not something that you want to have played, because that makes the king weaker. So I think in this game I'm pretty sure that the grandmaster will win quite easy here, George Meyer, because like taking on d6 and then take on d5 looks very good. So let's go back to the other game, because it's a little bit more interesting. We saw that rook b8 came like this, and then let's go back. This was the position, h4 and bishop f1. Okay, choose that. h5, he wants to avoid that white can play h5. Probably that's very good. So knight to e2, try to release the tension in the center, because if the knight, let's see, if the knight takes, at least then you have some pressure on the long file like this, and f5 can come and maybe some counterattacks. So knight f5 came, queen to f2, queen a5. Now you can see that black is actually quite fast also in his attack, threatening to take on a2, the pawn on a2 here with the queen like this. And you know, it looks like black is almost ahead already. So let's see, king b1, d take e5, there was a pawn hanging on e5, and now also the bishop has got a possibility for a good diagonal down towards the king on b1. Bishop h3, knight to d6, f5. Yes, white needs to do something to open up lines against the black king. If that is not possible working, then it will be simply lost. e4 came, took back, and you can see that now we have this nice diagonal of the bishop on g7, threatening to go down here. Let's see what's happening. Bishop e6, try to do something, take on f3, threatening to take on g6 here with the queen. And of course, black is covering up with bishop rook to f6, knight to f4, at least something here, you know. A little bit tricky, but again, as you can see here, there is a threat of taking on b2 with the bishop here. That might be possible. It's threatening to take on f4. Knight take h5. Okay, now take on e6, and I guess it's almost game over. Take on g7, take on g7, h5. No, this is not enough. I think that in this position, though, I think that knight to take on e6 was a little bit more interesting. And then the question is, if you take on e6, then maybe you have the check here, and you're trying to take, and the bishop takes. You have like this, this, and this. This could be a checkmate. So at least that seems to be a little bit more dangerous than taking on h5 that simply lost. So h5, let's see here. I just want to say that I have everything in position. Very good. So now to rook b6, took on f3, rook f6. Okay, trying to do something, but this is not enough. You know, black can probably play like queen e4. That was then take on g6 even, and this should be a winning position for black. So take on g6. I'm pretty sure that will come. Maybe we should go back to this game. We had like in the position, we had this position. Oh my god, what has happened here? Very interesting. Took on c6, e4, e5, queen c4. So as you can see, white has got some extra pawns, but at least h3. There is a little bit disharmony in the black pieces, but we'll see. Take on here, take on d4, bishop a3. because in this position white was threatening to play like this. So he played this, e5, e6, trying to opening up all what he can. One problem is, of course, if you take back like this, you have a fantastic diagonal down to the black queen. So here, okay, that's a bit strange, but okay. Queen a6, take, yeah, white should simply be winning here. But of course, still some tricks, maybe. Yeah, okay, swapping off looks good. But now, that's a little bit strange. I don't understand a little bit what white has done here. Because now you can actually take on g5. d5, very strange what happened there. Somehow, I guess that Meyer didn't have control of the position. So let's go. Let's see here what happens here, because now actually he has got some problems. This is not clear. This should actually be a draw, I guess, if you play correct, but yes, took. So let's see what happens. Now at least he's up, suddenly he's a pawn up. Okay, well, maybe, I think that white probably has got good winning chances in this game, even though it was not very clear earlier on. It seemed like Oliver had a good chance to make it. In this position, I can see that, well, let's see now they are playing on increment. So rook e3. Now it starts to look very difficult for black, but maybe bishop b6 can save it. Still, there is no doubt that now it is white has got a very dangerous attack also with the king and here. So maybe even f5 could be played here, because then you are threatening to take the rook on g3. So f5 could be threatened. And yeah, I guess that is just okay. There's a checkmate. I don't understand what happened, but bishop let's move on. Let's see how the checkmate came. And a checkmate. Okay, so actually we had, at least in this game between Meyer and Wedenberg, we had a very interesting position in the middle where somehow Meyer lost threat and couldn't find the right way, and suddenly black had chances, but in the end, no doubt, the grandmaster from won this game, George Meyer. So let's see if there is if they are preparing for the second game. I guess that is the case, but let's see. I guess that the second game will start quite soon. They make the pairings, of course, first, so probably there will be some minutes. Okay, so so far the favorites have made it in the end, but as you can see, we are playing blitz games. Everything can happen. Also, the grandmasters will make mistakes, so it will not be so easy for them to win every game, at least. So I haven't had the result yet for the other games, but maybe, I guess that soon I will have this as well. Some kind of page where I can see the results of the other games, not only those two that we are following online. So soon I hope to be able to give you that as well. So let's see. Nope. So we are waiting. Anyway, it's interesting to see that such strong grandmasters, we actually have 6 of them, are coming to the tournaments, and also we have quite a lot of international masters that also want to take the chance. And not the least, we have the club players, we have the players from the Black Knight, Svarta Hästen, who just come here to enjoy and have fun. And I think it's fantastic that they have the chance to actually play against these grandmasters like they can do in this BLITZ tournament, just to get the feeling of what it's like to play against these monsters. So if I look at the participants, I can also see that we have a lot of young Swedish players, promising players that is ready, because there is also another tournament that is playing, a real tournament, if I put it this way, with classical time and so on, where we have a lot of these youngsters and also the grandmasters participating. So it is played in Upplands Väsby. There is like a tournament arranged by Vladimir Poulet, and a fantastic initiative, by the way, to give the chance to the Swedish players to try to get norms and so on. So, do we know anything about the next round? Vidar? Vet vi någonting? Hur kommer det vara? How does it work? No. They will put it up on the screen, I guess, when it's ready, or will it come up?
Har du just results, eller?
Nej, det var den jag tänkte du kunde få sätta in också. So we just arranged so I can give you the results of all the games.
Det här ser ingen, så vi kan bara byta mellan dem.
Just det, perfekt, tack. So, what we could see is that if we look at the first round, almost all the stronger players won their games. I could see that, yes, it seems like more or less every player of higher rating won their games at the top boards. But Xuan Beion, he had to give a draw to Jesper Hall. But beside that, it seems like the strong players won almost in every game, and that is not so strange, because we have a big gap between when it comes to the ELO between the players. That's very normal when you play these kind of Swiss tournaments, because what you do is that you put up the players in rating, and then you divide the field in the middle, and then you let the number one in each group play against each others. And that means, like for example, on the top board we have George Meyer playing against Oliver Wedberg. George Meyer had 25-36. Oliver Wedenberg had 1954 in ELO, and that is 580 points in between. So of course there should be a big difference in playing strength. So let's see if there are any new games. I cannot see that yet, but maybe there we'll see. We're waiting to see if they will come, and then we continue. So also for the second round we will be following the top boards. I'm only commenting on the top boards, the two top boards. So let's wait for the new games to come up. So, who is the favorite of the tournament? Well, of course it is the top players, but I also know that we have like Edvin Trost from Sweden, young international master, very strong in Blitz games, but also some other experts when it comes to Blitz that could probably surprise the grandmasters. So I'm looking forward to see how strong the grandmasters are when it comes to Blitz games. You should also know that Sivuk and Galperin and Jung Min and the others, they have actually been playing in this traditional chess tournament with long games already. So I guess they might be a little bit tired, but we'll see. So let's see if there is some new games. I cannot see that yet. Let's see. So, have they started the second round? But I cannot see it on my screen. So, will it update? Okay. So how do I do that? So we are waiting for the second round to come up here. Yes, please check it out and we'll see. At least I can see that we will have Krum Berovski playing against George Meyer, Platon Galperin against Kim Nygren, and I can tell you already that at least now there will be tougher games because there are at least some young and strong BLITZ players that will be challenging the strong grandmasters here. But let's see. Let's see what can happen here. Nope. I cannot. So, I'm sorry. I don't know where to find the.
Round 2.
Uh-huh. So that's what I need to do. Then I know. I'm sorry, guys. So here we have like Krum Berovski playing against George Meyer, and of course there is a gap in when it comes to the strength, but Krum is not a bad player, so this can be more challenging probably. Okay, so George Meyer is black in this game, and we can see that it is a classical Nimzowitsch game. White has got an extra pawn in the center, the c4, d4 pawns, but black controls e4, and that is normally the key. So, and now white is getting the pair of bishops, but also have a bit of a strong center, but the problem is that black is controlling e4, but also has got a closed position almost, or at least a semi-closed position. That means that the bishops will not find good diagonals to work on. So that is the key of this position, to see what is most important: the pair of bishops, the strong center, or the little bit weak pawn structure of white. So castles, knight e4, everything is classical. f5, you can see that black is supporting this square. This is like the key square of this type of middle game. And you can also see that this bishop here is very strong, while the colleague on c1 is doing almost nothing. Here you really need to have this bishop going by trying to push e4, or maybe to get it out a4, bishop a3 or something like that. So let's see what's happening. Knight d2, it's a logical move. Undermining e4, also preparing to play like this, like I said. You want to open up with f3, e4 to get the bishop on c1 rolling. So knight f6, d5, okay. Now if you take on d5, then the pawn is hanging on f5, and there is no doubt that it is in the interest of white to open up the position. Knight g4, that's an interesting move. Black is trying to go for maybe an attack, but also you cannot play f3 because it's hanging on e3. And maybe also knight e5 could come. Interesting move actually. So e4, trying to continue to open up the position. It's logical. Knight e5 wants to get rid of that bishop. Took on f5. And queen take d3. And I guess that it should be rook take f5. No, pawn take f5. At least now what has happened is that the bishop on b7 now is not doing much, because white has got this strong pair of pawns that restricts the bishop on b7, White's bishop on f4 can actually be quite good. Personally, I prefer white in this position, but let's see how George Meyer is dealing with the position. One other problem is a little bit, if you play like d6, you can apply bishop f4, rook e1, knight e5, so there are very logical moves like this, you know, because if d6 comes, you will have a nice square on e6. So the question is what type of plan black will have here. I don't know, h6 is also a little bit strange, because then the f5 pawn, I mean, the idea, if you play like this, that's the idea maybe. Okay, let's see, you played f4. That's interesting, because that restricts the bishop here. Maybe that was a good move actually. Rook e1, d6. And what you want to do now is, you would really like to play knight to g5 and knight to e6, so threatening checkmate on h7, but the problem is that the queen can take. So the question is if you can prepare that. So what happened was, yes, rook e4, going for the pawn on f4, I like that. And now, no doubt, white is better in this position, because g5 is a very dangerous move, because then this, you can maybe undermine it with h4. I think so actually. And now it's a bit shakier, because you do not want to open up before in front of your king. So bishop c8 simply took, and now black will be a pawn down, and white has got the edge of the position. And so queen g6, I like that as well, because now you're threatening to take on f8 and then take with the bishop on h6. Sorry, that was not the perfect one. Let's see, 2 seconds. So you like this. So let's see, queen e8, take. Well, now it's so. And this is a disaster for black actually. So Meyer has got problems here. White has played a very good game. I'm impressed by the play of white. So let's see now if the grandmaster is strong enough to go for saving the endgame. But as you can see, 2 pawns, no, 3, 1, 2, my god, 3 pawns down. White is winning. This will most likely be a disaster for black. But okay, some chances of course. With a little time, you can see that they are down to 7 seconds, 3 seconds, and the increment of 2 seconds. We are playing with 3 minutes plus 2 seconds per move. Let's see the other game just quickly. This was the game between Platon Galperin and Kim Nygren, and we just rush through quickly here. Okay, classical setup. White is developing the pieces, having control of e5, but it should be okay also for black. But what is happening here? Take. Okay. But this is, now we have a position. White is already I don't understand what happened here. As you can see, there was a little bit of a trick here. Take this. A very strange play now to go for this. But okay. Now, no doubt, because now you are playing with heavy pieces, and when you play like this, it is the king, safety of the king, that is the central stuff, and you can see the black king is moving up. So there is no doubt that this should be a winning position for white, but now came a very strange move, took on here. Okay, trying to go for a perpetual, but there is nothing like that, and now white is winning. I guess you just give a check here and take on e3 or something like that. So okay, so and let's go back to this game, because this could actually be interesting. White is more or less winning here. I think that soon he will give up, Meyer, if he hasn't done it already. So you could see that when you play blitz games, even though you are a grandmaster, there might be difficulties because your opponent, not the least when it comes to such strong players with 22 in ELO, you know, they can play a good game. You can make a slip with so little time. So a great game by Kronberowski. I must say, I'm impressed. This was a good game, and I actually felt that Meyer didn't really have a real chance in this game. It was like White was controlling the game from the very beginning to the very end. So, but 13 rounds to go in total. This is just round 2, so there will be a lot of things happening during this tournament. But already now in round 2, we have such an interesting situation. Let's see here. We have here. You can say that if it is so interesting already now, what about what will happen in the next rounds? I love this. This will for sure be a great tournament to watch and to follow. So very, very nice. Okay, so let's see what is going to be. I think that the result must be that Meyer did give up in this position because there's so many pawns down, 3 pawns. White is about to play king g5 and then h6. The classical plan is to play like this, and White is it's easily winning for White. Good game. So we'll see if we can see any other results somewhere. So now we can see that in the top we have Galperin, Grandmaster, 2 points. Jungmin Seo, International Master from Sweden. Vitaly Sivuk, also Grandmaster. Erik Blomqvist, Grandmaster. Krumberovsky and Edwin Tross, they have all 2 points. And that means that in the 3rd round, we will have some really sharp battles between those players in the lead. Beside them, we also have Pia Kramling, 1.5, Sixten Strand, 1.5. So yes, no. It's will be interesting tournament also because there is a lot of players having 1 point, and not the least, of course, George Meyer that just lost. But we have some really strong players with 1 point, and I'm looking forward to see if they are ready to go up to challenge the top players or what will happen. So, okay, now we have the results confirmed that Krumberovsky did win against the Grandmaster George Meyer. So let's see if they have a round 3 starts after round 2. Okay, not yet. I will try to find out when they start the next round. So I'm sitting on the second floor, or on the first floor actually, because the tournament is played in the basement, the venue of Svarta Hästen, this great chess and wine bar in the very central of Stockholm, and I can hear them mumbling, so I do understand that round 3 has not started yet. And as soon as I can hear that they are, starting to get ready for the next round, then I will check out and be ready to follow for the next round. Let's see again. Do we have any upsets from so far or surprises? Beside this, that George Meyer did lose, we also have some strong international masters like Lars Degerman, who has 1 point so far, and Juan Bayon has got actually half a point. The Spanish Grandmaster married to Pia Kramling, and so he will for sure be ready to move up through the field as we go on. But we are waiting for the 3rd round of the BLITZ tournament, the spring BLITZ tournament of the Black Knight, or the Svarta Hästen, in the very center of Stockholm. Right. And we have just seen this little bit upsetting story with Krumberovsky, 22-03, won quite convincingly against George Meyer. Is it Greek flag? I know that he came from Germany before, but I guess it's representing Greece these days. Stämmer det? Is it correct? Uruguay, I'm sorry. It's actually, I couldn't see it so clearly. So it's Uruguay he's playing for now. That's interesting. I'm sorry for my mistake. I didn't see the flag properly. So let's see if the pairings has come up yet for the next round. Let's see. Here we are, round 3. Not yet. We are waiting for that to come. Yes. I'd be happy to have some guests. Yes.
See if someone finishes early.
Do you want to come? Maybe
later.
Maybe later. Okay, that's fine. Now, well, of course, when we do this type of commenting, it's always nice to have some guests coming up, so you don't have to listen to my voice all the time. So we have, not the least, as we have such interesting field, I'd be happy to have some people coming in to tell both about this venue, fantastic venue, but also just to comment a little bit about the games and what has happened and so on. So we will have that as we move along. But right now we are focusing on next round, and that will be the third one. We are going to have 13 during this evening. So we'll see. As always, when you play these kind of blitz tournaments, you just have like the pairings ongoing straight after the finish of the round. So let's see now if they are ready for that or not. Let's see here, round 3. Not yet, but it will come for sure soon. But we have to wait a little bit. I can hear now that the mumbling downstairs has stopped, so that means that they start to get ready for the next round. Let's see here if I can see. No, I see if there will be like round 3. Yes, now we have round 3. Oh, strange enough, I could see that Lars Degerman actually has got 2 points. That was strange. There was some kind of mistakes before. So now we will have some really interesting games. Degerman against Galperin, Jungmin Seo against Christopher Lisseng. We will have Erik Blomqvist against Edvin Trost. And we will have Vitaly Sivuk against Krumberovsky. This will be a round where I believe that people will show how good shape they are in. So I'm really looking forward to this. Let's see if I can get up the round 3 now. Yes, here we are. So now we are into the game between Lars Degerman and Platon Galperin. Lars Degerman, he is an international master, has been one of the strongest players in Sweden for a long time, but has chosen to do like a normal career, if I put it this way. And so he never was a professional, but still been competing for the highest places in the Swedish championships and won very nice games and not the least tournaments. So let's see here, he's playing solid play by white, going for this kind of fianchetto setup. And the question is, are you going to have like this classical King's Indian structure? And the key move then is that when e4 comes, then normally you want to play e5. By holding this in after e5, white can choose not to go for e4. That is like the classical one. So let's see what's happening. e4, now okay. e5 came, h3. Yeah, this is a classical way to do it. Normally, you know, what is a little bit strange in this position is, of course, the bishop on d7. Normally, you go with a knight to d7, and this is not the normal square of the bishop, but maybe to take on d4 and play bishop c6. Yeah, that's what's actually knight c6. Okay, this is interesting. So bishop e3. The idea of h3, that was a move before, is to avoid knight to g4. That can be very dangerous in this type of position, so don't forget to do that if you play this type of positions. Now let's take on d4. Okay, that's interesting. c5. You know, after bishop, yeah, I can see the idea now. Okay, queen c8. Now you can take on d6, but then probably you take on h3, I guess. And actually now then it starts to be a little bit annoying. So let's see here, king h2 is just playing safe. Bishop c6, queen c2, queen e6, knight to d5. Okay, the idea now is that if you take here, you take back, in the end you will have knight to c7, I guess, huh? So instead rook c8, rook e1. Now, of course, there is hanging a pawn here on e4, but I guess if you move the bishop, this will be a problem. So I don't think that will happen. So b5 came, undermining the protection of d5. That's a normal move. I think actually Galperian has made it quite well. It was a bit strange to me to see how the bishop was placed on c6, but here we can see still. I mean, white is okay, but I don't think black has got any problems either. Queen d7. Now we can see the question is, so it's protecting here. I think it's quite equal, the position. Bishop f4, normal move, put the bishop so it's ready to go for d6. And probably white wants to play b3 or something like that, because right now black has got a good bishop down on to b2. c4, yes. Taking away this idea, because then maybe even c3. So that now this is a bit challenging move, because on the other hand, the bishop here can also be weak. But what is you are threatening now is to play like this, and if b3 you take, and you have like the rook threatening the queen. So a tricky move, I must say. So this is the position right now, critical position. Degerman has got only 24 seconds left. Galperian 2 minutes. I think that actually Degerman will have some problems here to be able to hold the position, because now with this idea, tricky position, little time, and this is important in this type of position. So okay, let's take a quick look at the other game between Jung-Min Seo, the Swedish strong international master, trying to become a grandmaster, playing against Christopher Lisseng, one of these younger, promising players of Sweden that has been around for a long time with a good routine. And if I remember correctly, he's quite good in blitz as well. So e4, c5, and Jung-Min is going for an open Sicilian. We have the classical variation, and bishop g5. Everything is no. Okay, bishop d7 is not the main line, but I have played it myself several times. A little bit tricky, and I think it's rook c8. The idea here is simply to take on c3, queening. Sometimes you can even sacrifice on c3 to go for the e4 pawn. So castle, yes. Okay, queen a5. This is how I play it as well. Bishop d2, yes. And now I play a6. Now let's see. Yeah, that's the correct one. Now queen c5, and from my point of view, this is actually, I think this is quite an equal position. But again, Jung-Min Seo is very strong when it comes to the endgame. So I guess that he knows what he's doing, putting pressure on black. Sometimes also when you play a lower rated player, what you want is to play something safe, just to win by being the better player. Don't have this kind of theoretical discussions. So bishop d4, knight e5. Okay, this is interesting actually, because I was actually thinking about if this was the correct way to play for black. So bishop g7, knight h5, bishop b3, bishop e6. Yeah, okay. So now at least what white can do is to take on e6 and get the pair of bishops, but on the other hand, then maybe this pawn will be weak, so we'll see. It's going for h4. Quite often when you play like this in the end games, what you do is to play h5 and maybe even h6 just to keep the king down. So this does not have to be like an attacking idea. Now we'll see. Okay, so f4, knight c4, of course. I think it's been quite a correct game so far, but let's see if there is something that... Now rook c6. Now I guess that you are threatening to take on b2 and then play rook b6 to put pressure here. So the normal mate would be b3 exactly, because now there is no checkmate like this, because you have the bishop that can take the knight, and that means that the black knight needs to go back like on b6, and here it's a bit strange. So now for me it seems like Jung Min Seo is a little bit taking over the game, because I cannot see where this knight, maybe rook knight d7 c5, but there is not this perfect coordination. c4, let's see what's happening here. Yes, that was a surprise as well. So that was a nice move. Bishop e5, I didn't see that one. That's a good one. Take. Now we're suddenly into a rook endgame. But on the other hand, the rook on b6 is a bit... But I think this is absolutely okay for black. That's my feeling. Yes. Okay. e4. Yeah, this is like, you know, it's if anyone is better here, it must be... Now, okay, this should be a draw, I think. Like this. But, okay, rook c7. Actually, is pressing on. This is interesting. Jung Min Seo is now... I don't understand what happened here. So actually now white is better in this position. Of course, with a pawn extra. So let's see if we can make it. Yeah, now it's getting better and better. And of course, this should be... I think this should be like a winning position, yes. But still he can fight. So something happened here. That was interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what happened here. Yes, Galperin won this game. Let's see what happened. We had like this. Yes, bishop c1. I said that there is a trick. Bishop a4, and he fell for it. Too bad, because now it's just game over. Like this, c3, take, and queen e1. Okay, if you swap off the queens, you can see that it's equal pawns, but black has got a rook for a bishop, and no doubt this is an easy winning position. Queen c2, rook c5, and here black won. I guess it was due to time, but anyway, black has got a winning position due to the fact that materially wise black is in the lead. That leaves us with Jung Min Seo against Li Seng. What happened? So let's see here. So actually it seems like he had chances to make a draw here. Is actually a drawn position. Quite often, as you know, the rook endgames are drawn. b6, but here you need to give a check on b1 and then play queen d4. Oh, that was good. Look at this. I guess this is normal, to play rook b1 check, king e5, and king d4. And then here, I think it's almost a draw immediately with this. Check, needs to go back, and it would have been a draw. So actually black had good chances to make a draw, but in the end Jung Min Seo, the higher rated player, managed to take this game to a win. It's very, very tricky, this kind of rook end games, because a small mistake can make it totally wrong for the one that made the mistake. So let's see what were the results of today. of this game beside those that we were looking at. So let's see, we had Galpering winning against Lars Degerman. We had Jungmin Seo winning against Christopher Lisseng. Blomqvist won against Edvin Trost. That was nice. Blomqvist is a grandmaster from Sweden, of course, very strong player. But Edvin Trost is a good blitz player, so that was interesting. Vitaly Sivuk did win against Krumberovsky, that played so well in the last round. So, and then we have, well, this was interesting, Sixten Strand playing very well. A draw against Joar Ölund, a much higher rated player, so obviously Sixten Strand is a good blitz player. Then Pierre Kramling won against Simon Agrest. Simon is the son of Evgeny Agrest, the famous chess player, Swedish player. And then we have Anna Kramling won against Mikael Johansson. We have George Meyer, he won against Bernard Huber. So we actually have not many upsets, I think, beside this result on the top boards with quite equal players. And yeah, and also it's so, I must say, it's so nice to see that also those less experienced players can have a great time playing in the tournament and get the chance to play one of those really strong players that are also taking part. So very nice. So let's see if there is, I guess there is no round 4 yet. What do we have? Not yet. Waiting a little bit to see. Okay, so this is for new watchers. This is the Blitz tournament of the Black Knight, Svarta Hästen, spring tournament, arranged here in the very center of Stockholm, below the nightclub Laroy, and well, it's a chess and wine bar, focusing having a good time together. Very nice place, and a lot of players coming here just to have an enjoyable time. Not so, what do you say, serious in a way, but more focusing on having a good time. But of course also, you know, arranging this type of tournaments can be a very nice way also for players who are not mainly interested in becoming as good as possible, but simply having a good time. And that's why also a lot of strong players wants to come here, simply because it's like a new atmosphere. You know, they have some nice music on. You know, all types of players are here, from very much beginners up to those who will come just to have a good time with their friends, chess players, club players, and so on. So it's a great mix, and just like in this tournament, with 6 grandmasters in the lead, and beside that, all types of players from, you know, promising juniors, club players, down to almost beginners. It's fantastic, I believe. But let's see. I have a feeling that there might be a new game coming up. Not yet. I think it will come soon, because I can hear that they are now a bit quiet. So let's see. Let's see. But okay, we can see also here if we have like the 4th round. Yes, here we have the 4th round. And now we have an interesting, we have 4 players with full score, 3 points each. That's Platon Galpering playing against his friend, Ukrainian friend Vitaly Sivuk. Both have become Swedish players these days, but originally they're from Ukraine. Platon Galperin and Vitaly Sivuk, very much, what do you say, professionals, traveling around Europe and just to play chess, doing it with great success. And then we have Erik Blomqvist playing white against Jungmin Seo, both Swedish players know each other since long time back. And on the third board we have Pia Kramling playing against George Meyer, because Pia Kramling is just half a point behind. She has got 2.5 points. So in the lead, full points, Galperin, Sivuk, Blomqvist, Jungmin Seo. Half points behind is Pia Kramling, but now she's facing George Meyer with white, so that will be an interesting game to follow. And we are ready. And now let's see if these players want to go for something else than a draw. You know, they know each other so well, traveling around the world together. So let's see what's happening. We have like this Berlin defense, and I don't know how much you know about it, but this is very become a successful opening when Vladimir Kramnik won against Garry Kasparov in the World Championship in 2000, and since then the Berlin defense has been something that white has been struggling to find any kind of advantage. And this is a sideline, but it's quite interesting because now it looks like black has won a piece, but after a4 there is no way for black to retreat with a knight without losing it. So even though it was like a sacrifice, you simply will get it back. So, and here we have like, okay, d5. I don't know this line so well. After d5 I haven't seen that, but I'm sure it's very common. Take on d6, and now we can say that we have a position that is quite equal in the sense that we have symmetric position. And when you have this type of position, it's extremely important to be fast, because if you just start to swap off pieces, this game will be a draw. So white is trying to do something, and here we are, and it was a draw. Yeah, okay, so the friends had a variation here that made it like three times the same position, which means that it will become a draw, and that's of course fine. So then we are focusing on the other game, and that is between Erik Blomqvist and Jungmin Seo. And Erik Blomqvist is a typical e4 player, and now Jungmin is choosing to play with the Sicilian. And well, okay, so now we are into this kind of Taimanov system. This is one of the old ones. You know, you can see it over time. There is always some black players using this kind of system. And Queen c7. The idea is normally, you know, to go to b5 with a pawn, of course. Bishop on b7. Then you can choose to have your bishop either you go out here, or you know, it will be like a Scheveningen with d6. Then the bishop will stay on e7, knight f6, and so on. So bishop d3, knight c6, take, queen take, castle, bishop to c5. Like I said, you know, black can choose how to bring out the pieces. And now bishop c5 is a bit ambitious. Idea is, of course, to get it out. You know, if maybe black will play d6, then it's outside of the chain. But of course, also it is pointing down towards the white king like this. So queen g4. Okay, bishop d4, that's interesting. Knight e2. Now it becomes a little bit strange to me, at least. It's like a new way. f4. It looks a little bit strange, but okay. d6. Okay, I like it. Queen g3, ready to go for e5, like this. d7, h1, c3. Okay, wants to take away the long diagonal down here, building like a little bit of stones here, so that the bishop will not be ready to take on b2. Bishop d7. It's interesting also because black has not chosen yet where to put the king. Either you can go for a castle long side or short side. If you do it long side, you had h5, h4 that could come, but of course it's dangerous as well, because, you know, after bishop b3, b4, b5 and this type of moves, it's very dangerous for the black king. So you need to be able to calculate what to do. Rook d1, putting the pieces on right squares. Bishop b5. Okay, that's interesting. Wants to swap off. This one I would take and play a3, but let's see what's happening. Yes, because now you can see that now this is stuck, and if you can just put pressure on this pawn, you can probably win the pawn. So here you can go for a more, what do you say, positional way of playing. d5 came, bishop d4, yes, knight take, e5, okay. Personally, I believe that white is better in this position due to the fact that the b5 pawn is weak. Beside that, black is fine. If the pawn would have been to a6, no problem at all. Now you have the b5. So it's trying to find a way to protect it. Queen h4, knight c6, okay. Knight f3, I thought so, because now you're ready to go for knight to g5. King g7, queen f6, rook d3, yes, I like it. Okay, so now we have an endgame. And I believe that, okay, white is better. The question is how much? It's not so much, but I had a feeling that there was a better way to play, because now I think it is absolutely okay for black. At least that's my feeling. Because, you know, if you take on, you cannot take with the rook like this, because then you take back and the rook is stuck a little bit on b4. And as you know, to take with the other rook, b6, b takes c4, it's actually black who's better. So I think this game will be a draw, or maybe Jung Min can start to put pressure, because now this has been very strange, you know. So he's ready to go for h5. He wants to do something like h5 here. White's normal idea is to play f5, but I don't believe in it really. So let's see. Yeah, well, we have the time also here. Okay, now again, if this was like a long game, I'm pretty sure this would be a draw. Okay, maybe you can actually take on b4. But okay, then the c5. You should maybe you should play like king b6, rook c8. Okay, here I think one idea is to take on b4, a take b4, and then rook c4, go for d4. Actually, I think that he has got chances to win this, Jung Min. But let's see what's happening. But it's not clear. Maybe I am too optimistic here. Here you also have the idea to take here, but then you take with the c pawn, and the king goes back. Okay, because if you take with the other pawn, then king. Okay, like this. I think that this should be a draw, but let's see what's happening. We have little time for both players, which means that mistakes can be made. So let's see what's happening. If there is any possibility to make any. No, it became a draw. Okay, so we have draws, and that means that we will have several players in the lead again. So there was a. So I don't know about after 4 rounds. Okay, so we have Galperin, Vital Sibuk, Jung Min, Erik Blomqvist on 3.5. I guess. Okay, we must take a look. You know, it's here we can see. Okay, so Pia Kramling lost to George Meyer. That means that he has got 3 points. Edvin Trost won against Martin Silver. Joar Ölund won. Christopher Lisseng won. So that means that we will have like the 4 in the top before this round will still be in the lead. So let's see here. Okay, now we can see. So Lars Degerman won against Anna Kramling. Kim Nygren lost. Okay, that was a bit of a surprise. And okay. So, a little bit interested in the result between Sixten Strand and Juan Beyond, because Sixten Strand has played very well so far. So that's an interesting game. Let's see if there is any other upsets. But right now, and into the 5th round, we will have Galperin, Sivuk, Blomqvist and Jungmin Seo with 3.5. Only lost half a point so far. So they will continue to meet each other, I guess. And we'll see if anyone is a little bit sharper than the others today. Or well, at least we will have some really good games coming up also now, because both George Meyer and Edwin Trost and Joar Ölund and Christopher Lisseng and Lars Degerman now has got 3 points, so they're only half a point behind. I think this can be a very, very exciting tournament in the end, because we have 13 rounds to go and still no one has got full points, so very interesting. So let's see. Okay. So I will So Vidar, how was your game?
I lost.
What happened?
I blundered my pieces.
You blundered your pieces.
Of course.
This is what you do in Blitz games. Is that what you always do?
Yeah.
Is that your problem in your games? I see. So let's see if they are ready soon to go. Yes, so we will have now the top players. It will be Jungmin playing against Galperin. We will have Sibuk playing against Blomqvist. And now I believe that there will not be 4 draws. My feeling is that now we will see some exciting games in the top. And well, I'm looking forward to it. So let's see, we have like Sivuk is a very strong positional player. Blomqvist is a good calculator. Normally he wants a little bit sharper games. So let's see what is happening in the opening in this game. Then we have Jungmin Seo playing against Galperin. 2 younger players with ambitions. Galperin is already Grandmaster. Jungmin is fighting to become one. They have played each other before. They know each other well. And also this game will be interesting to follow, so that will be interesting to see also this game. Okay, so I'm waiting for the game to start. We are waiting for the game to start. So we are on, and so let's see what happened here. Jungmin is playing white, play d4, knight c3. He knows that there will be this kind of King's Indian structure, and goes for h4. This is, you know, become more and more popular to go early on to try to put pressure on black like this. Knight f3, interesting. Take. Okay, I was a bit surprised to this move. I thought that it was going to be like h5 or something like that, but obviously not. Instead, knight f3, take it, of course. G take f3, I guess. Somehow bishop takes, then h5, Looks quite okay, but that's what's happened. Okay, h5, bishop b3, c6, queen d2. Well, the idea with when you play h4 like this, of course, you know, the idea is to play for castle alongside, but it is dangerous, that we could see earlier on, because you have this long here, and your black can go for opening up the center and go for b5 and try to open up. So yeah, I would be a little bit worried about castling longside. You know, maybe you instead should go for a short castle like in this game, but then this move like h4, you know, it's do not harmonize with the position, because you want normally to have g3 and the bishop on g2 to protect the white king. But yeah. Okay, so bishop d7, try just, you know, putting out the piece before deciding what to do. And now the question is how to continue. I guess normally you put like a rook on c1 or d1 or something like that. Okay, so ace a6. Suddenly I was thinking about why not push c5 here. Could be interesting maybe. Try to open up like this. At least this is a move I would think about. It's a little bit strange position right now. Okay, took on c6 first and then played c5. That's normal. That's good. Okay, this is now, this must be slightly better for white. I don't think black played correctly here, because what is happening now is that what you want to do is to put pressure on the pawn structure. And that is also what happened. And now you can see we have some weak pawns here. And okay, there is dynamics in the black position, but like if you play like b3 or knight a4, maybe even knight a4 here, or rook d1 or something like that, you know, white will, okay, bishop g5, that surprised me a little bit again, but yeah, okay. The point is that you do not want to play f6 here, because then you have like strange pawns on h5, g6 and f6. So rook d1 came like this. Okay, now of course you have this choice how to continue. Do you know, if you play knight c4, bishop take, queen take d6, you lose a pawn. But on the other hand, if you play f6, you can take on d6 then, you know. I mean, if you play like this, maybe you can take here, because then this is hanging. My feeling is actually that Jung Min has managed to do something here, because now black has got some problems, I believe. He didn't take on d6. Couldn't he take on d6 in this position? What about take on d6? Take here. Take on h4. Must be slightly better for white. But okay, he went for bishop e3. Now he could play like this. Should he play knight a4 now to go for pressure? I mean, it could be like this, because then you're a little bit threatening to play like this. It's a classical idea of the position, and then play like b3. Whatever black will do with the pawns in the center, playing d5 or c5. Yeah, exactly what happened here is, again, white is slightly better in the position, not the least as this bishop a little bit. f5 is a little bit strange to play, because it weakens your king side. But okay, might be that you have to do that. c5, that's a concession, but okay, actually, maybe this is okay. I guess you play like f3 now, and then you try to control here. d5, so if you play like f3 and then go for like this to have some pressure like this. So okay, that's what happened. Yeah, I like this, knight c3. If you take on e4, knight take, then there is actually some pressure again against the pawns. As you can see in this structure, it's all about this pawn on structure here, and if white can make use of it, black is trying to make use of the strong pieces. And okay, I like this move, because the idea is to go with a knight to d4, because then you close this long file down towards the rook on d8. So that's a good idea probably to do. And now the question, yes, I thought so too, why not take on here? Because if you take with the bishop, then bishop c4 check and bishop d5 could be a possibility. and I believe that white will be better. Or if you take with a pawn, then suddenly you have weaknesses, you know. So, okay, so black has to, yes, you could see he choose to do that. I believe maybe that you will play like bishop g5 now. Bishop g5 and then maybe bishop c4. Is that possible? I think white is better in this position, but let's see what happened. What happened here? Okay, so knight, I must, okay, so this happened. A bit strange actually, I believe. Because now I don't think there is so much strength. Strange. What's happening here? Here. Okay. Very strange play now, I believe. I think he's lost thread here. Jung Min. I think he had a good position before. What is happening now? I think you must take on b3. Knight take, rook b1. He didn't do that. Okay, queen g5, or what is happening? It must, okay, queen g5, then maybe. Yeah, okay. Interesting, because now you can see that black is like a pawn down, but this is a monster, this pawn on b3, playing for b2 and then simply get a queen on b1. So the question is if there is any attacks for white here. Knight g5, yeah, that is not actually quite good, because you threaten to take on f7 and play bishop c4. Then you will have like a pin between the queen on f7. Okay, interesting. Let's see. White is ready. So queen d4 is a very interesting check here. I think that's actually a strong move. Queen d4 check, queen take d4, bishop take d4, and then bishop to a2. Exactly. No. This is white has lost thread totally in this position. A big mistake, I believe. So I think Jung Min will lose this game. Suddenly he just lost thread. A bit surprised here, because it felt like he was quite okay. Not the least in this position, there's no doubt here white must be better, but suddenly now maybe bishop c4 even, you know, take, white is better in that position. So okay, now suddenly I don't understand these moves with a knight like this. And now, no, this is winning. Okay, and we can see that also Sivuk lost, Erik Blomqvist won. That's really nice, you know. Let's see what happened here. So let's a little bit quick. Blomqvist black. Okay, we have this variation. This is a very sharp line, a lot of theory on this one. Like I said, Blomqvist wants to have sharp games. He's trying to go for that. Okay, and you can see that black has got some pressure, but on the other hand, still looks maybe d5. Okay, he's trying to be fast, opening up at the position. a3. Okay, actually has got a good opening here, because you can see that these pieces are cramped. You also have like a long file here, you have the weakness here. Now actually I believe that black must have a fine game. Maybe not so fantastic, but still quite okay, I believe. Okay, maybe white found a way to get out, but queen c3, knight c5, okay, interesting. You could have played, look at this move. Queen e5, threatening both pieces here, winning immediately. Okay. Too bad, but that's the thing. Knight f3, knight d3. Okay, black has taken. What's happening here? Was it time out? The time went out? I guess so. 1 point here is, of course, if you take here, you can deliver a checkmate down here. So what happened here? Take on f6. I guess he's lost his on time. Yes, what do you say? This was the last. Here we have Kalle. Would you want to join me in? We can take a look here, how we look. Peter, you have to come
behind the board.
yeah, behind the board, yes.
I don't know if you can hear me.
So, here we have Kalle. You are, what is the title you have? Of,
bar manager.
You are bar manager. So, yes. Exactly. We need to do it like this because we have only one microphone.
Yes.
But you are the bar manager of this, but you're also a chess player.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm 1-1 against you. So.
Yes, you 1-1 against me. That's correct.
Which is not fair at all. But,
no, that's fine.
What happened in the game here?
Well, it was a very sharp game, and I think actually that our let's see here. It was a very strange. This was a very strange position because here White took on f6 like this, and if you take on e1, there will be like a checkmate, a rare stalemate. So if you take here, but now I think that White must be okay again. You can even take on h6 and take on e1. Okay, but it's probably it's compensation, or you can also move the rook somewhere, but it's the threat bishop rook to c2. So this is it's a difficult position, but but my idea would be maybe to do something like this. I don't know, something like this, and I think that you are threatening to take on f6, like rook c2, take on f6. At least White has got some maybe bishop e4 is dangerous at least also. To go for an attack, but well, that was so in the end. But in the end, after here, it simply says that Black won the game. So that's why my guess is that it's time.
Probably on time.
And you could see that they both were a little down on time. So that's my guess. But it was a very, very sharp game between, and I think that Erik Blomqvist succeeded in complicating the game because Vitaly Sivuk is a very strong positional player, and Erik is more like a tactical guy. And
what happened in the other game? You have looked into it before.
Yeah,
so
of course. No. This was it was very strange again. It was like this type of. It was Jung Min against Galperin, and Galperin is playing for the King's Indian, and Jung Min played like a little bit odd way of playing it. Not the least, knight f3 was a surprise to me, because when you play h4, normally you want to go for h5.
Yeah.
So this was the game, and now, okay, I also thought that knight g4 must be good here. Very strange. Okay, so, but
was there a point of trading the knights if the knight was like strangely placed?
Where do how
on c3 like before? You said it was strange to put the knight on c3.
Let's see. What do you mean? What do you mean?
In the opening there. Like usually you say you don't place the knight here.
Yeah, for me, knight f3 was a bit strange because normally I believe that h5.
Right away. Okay.
Because with the knight here, you cannot play like this, and after knight f3, take. Now h5 will stop the idea, and that's why I thought it was a bit, not so harmonious, But okay, now I actually think that our Jung Min start to play really well, because if we look at the game now, I also think it was a good choice to go for a short castle, even though you have the pawn on h4. Rook to c1, I like that. And that was also a little bit strange to me, because now take on c6 and c5. And for me now, it must be slightly better for White, because you will have some weaknesses, the pawns and so on. And I think this was shown in the game as well. Bishop g5 and bishop g5, queen c7, fd1. And now my question was, can you take on d6? I was not sure. Because if you take, and then you can take the bishop. But then take takes up a bit. For a blitz game, it's very hard. So go back, b3, because here white simply has got a better position. I also thought knight a4, c5, f3, f5. And again, it must be right to take on, I thought it was going to take on, okay, knight c3. But now, suddenly, this was also good, I think. And here, white must be clearly better here.
Yeah.
But now it starts. I thought that the best. I was thinking about bishop c4 in this position, to trade off this one and this one, because then those pawns will be weaknesses. But instead, what happened was.
And like open out the line as well to the diagonal.
Yeah, exactly. So now knight d5, knight d4. Now it's some compensation, and this was now it starts to play very strangely with the pieces. I don't understand why. And go back here, I don't understand his play. So now suddenly black simply has got more or less a winning position. Even though you are like, you're pawn up, but the problem is that here, this was a mistake, it says. Why?
Yeah, why is this a mistake?
Okay. But okay. But because now it's simply winning.
Yeah.
So that was it.
A bit passive, maybe.
Yeah. So I think that in a way, I think he played quite well in the middle game, Jung-Min, but then it was like he lost thread during the game. But let's see here what we have got. If we have like round 6. Yes, we have. And now we have Galperin against Blomqvist, the two leaders, and Edwin Trost against Meyer. So we need to look at this game. So what have we got? We have Galperin against Blomqvist. Of course, these are two players that knows each other. They are Swedish, both players, even though Galperin originally is from Ukraine. And so let's see here. Galperin is white. He's playing his Bila. Okay, he's playing now. Okay. So this is a classical line.
Is this normal?
Yes, everything is normal here because now we have like a symmetrical situation in a way, but white will have got like an extra pawn in the center. The black idea is to try to undermine it or change it or something like that. White might have got a tempo extra.
Because at my level, knight a3 looks a bit.
Because but the idea is to take the pawn simply. And one idea also is that this can never happen because then the knight can take it. So sometimes it's smarter to go to here and to go to d2, but then maybe b5 is a possibility.
But you don't see it too often, no?
In this line, and when you take on c4, then it's actually one of these classical moves, But as you can see now, black is going for swapping off, and if everything will be like symmetrical, it will most likely be a draw, Or if this happens, this type of setups, it's also very important to be very fast when it comes to development. So in this position, white tries to make use of the long diagonal. Black is also trying to, to put the bishop to threaten on c4. Queen c8.
I would be a little bit scared of this. Because you're threatening the b7 pawn here with the and the knights are it just looks scary. Maybe
but the thing is that rook d8 is a threat. Maybe sometimes you can even play knight c6. But let's see what happened. Okay.
It's never a good feeling when you have to guard a weak pawn with your queen like this.
But now on the other hand, what's happening here? It feels like a theoretical line.
I'm pretty sure they know what to do.
Yeah, normally they do, But so here you can see that the question now was c6 is of course. Then the question is if you can take on c4, but then you take on d7. So c6, maybe b takes c6. Maybe it's okay for black actually because you have long, Normally then you have 3 pawn islands, but black will have some counterplay on this one if you play like c6 first. So knight take g7. So here you can see the idea now is to go for this pawn. So take with the queen, interesting, because if you take with the knight, I guess you simply play bishop to maybe bishop e3, I don't know. And then, you know, it's tricky position again. But okay, queen take, bishop b3, take on b2. Yeah, if you take on c5, then you take on a8, and you will have extra rook. So now we have an interesting position. You have submit, you know, but white will get back this pawn, and then you will have two bishops against knight and bishop. And normally this should not be enough to win. So there is, yeah, this should be a draw, of course. But, okay, yeah, this will be a draw. Very clearly.
Ooh.
Did you see that? Oh, what a mistake.
That looks good.
What a mistake. Let's see here. Here he plays.
Oh, he moved the king. King
Okay,
d7.
so maybe you could play like queen d6, bishop h6, and e6. And you have a simple draw. So here he makes a mistake. Here he could play queen d6, but okay.
Yeah.
Now you cannot take here. It's checkmate on f4. So now white won.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
what a mistake. Okay, so let's see the other game. Here we have Edwin Trost against the highest rated player, George Meyer.
How's it going for these top
Yeah,
players?
well, George Meyer lost. A bit surprising, but it was really downplayed by Krumberovsky, not one of the top guys. Edwin here is a very good BLITZ player, but of course Meyer is good as well. So we have classical Nimso Indian structure. White has got the pair of bishops. Black but got a worse pawn structure. Black wants to block the position. White wants to open up because white has got the bishops. That's the classical idea. So here normally you play e5. Yes. So okay. I wouldn't mind playing black here. I think black is actually absolutely okay. But on the other hand, white can also try to slowly just build up the position like he's doing now.
Is this still theory?
Well, at least the structure is so classical. Normally the question is where to put this bishop, you know. And this is a bit strange position, of course, to have a bishop behind here, you know. But on the other hand, what should black do? I would personally, I'd normally want to play c5 just to get it even more locked up. But I believe that Meyer knows what he's doing. So
yes, I would say a position like this looks very hard to find a good general plan for like a lower rated player.
No, this type of, because here is a lot of maneuvering. Time is not so important because you have you have the possibility to just try to find the best square, to put it on the best square, but also you should try to avoid the opponent to get his pieces on the right way, places. So what you can see here is that black is ready to go for something on the king side, but it's also difficult to say that there could be anything really, really nasty. Also because the classical move here would be f5. But as soon as you do that, you open up for the bishops. So you need to play only with the pieces, and my feeling is that it's too little to go for something with that. Knight e5, knight e6, bishop c1. Now it starts to be messy, because now it's like a little bit like black has been forced back, and white is now ready to open up. This can also be dangerous, of course, but still seems okay for white, I believe. Now you have, your. Now it looks very good for white, actually.
Yeah, it looks very comfortable.
What has happened? It must be I thought it must be c5.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is nothing. It took bishop b2. Now suddenly this bishop could be a monster, Yeah, you need to sacrifice. He sacrifice a pawn. Yes. Okay. I believe this was the best choice actually, because if you have this fantastic bishop, it's not easy then. And now he tries to get some counterplay, but this must be I think it's a good choice also to do that when you play blitz, you know.
Yeah.
So rook d8, rook e2, rook e1. Okay. Now let's see here. Now it starts to happen stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's correct, but you know, you cannot take on a4 because the queen is hanging on a3, so white can continue. But you can actually play rook a8. Could play rook here. This is a strange position.
So
what is happening here? Very strange position. Again, if you take here, you have a check here, and then the rook can take the queen, so it's not a possibility.
But he needs to be active, because otherwise,
yes,
I guess.
Oh, he's sacrificing. He's playing really hard here. Oh no, he won it. I see. Okay, big mistake. Okay, now white is winning, but let's see what the technique is like. Normally Edwin is good at this, but okay, it's
pretty good.
Okay, so he's playing safe.
And with the knight,
but
like
what is happening here?
Maybe you need the time, or
I don't know. Yeah, that was just why not rook c? You know, try to do something, because now it's like pawns are. He's playing strange here, you know. But okay. Now he's winning. He gave up. Huh?
Yeah, there's no way for
because rook f6, knight h5, and yeah, otherwise this is hanging and g7. Well done by Edwin Trost, and let's see what we have. What we have now. So we have Galperin 1, Blomqvist 1. So we have no, round 6. I mean, this is exactly what was the result. So that means that Galperin is now a solid lead on 5.5. Edwin Trost also won 5 points. Sivuk won against Christopher Lisson 4.5. That means that Trost will play against Galperin in something that I will guess could be the game that will decide the tournament, because if Galperin is winning, you know, he will be. He has played with the best players.
Are there any like underdog stories? Someone doing well on the lower?
Yes, a little bit.
I can see our Dimitar from Svarta Hästen.
You mean
it's pretty high up there.
Lars Degerman won. Let's see here. You were early on. Here we have favorites winning. Oh, we have Xuan won against Anna, his daughter. That is not good for the family relation. Okay, Pia won. Kim lost. This guy, Sixten Strand, has played very well. Actually, he has played strong players. So he has made a good one. Who were you thinking of?
No, I was just asking. Yes, to see the whole.
And the Vidar lost again. That's not impressive. He's a strong player, I believe.
He's very strong.
So he lost Dimitar. Yes, yeah. Played Kronberowski, who played so well before, you know. Joel won against Alexandra, and you know, we have
we have some Svarta Hästen.
Jesper Hemmingsson won. Yeah, we have some Svarta Hästen. I don't know. What do you say? I thought about that. Do you say the Black Knight in English, or what should I say? What do you say?
I don't know. When like first time we had to say it in English in public was probably when we had Levi Rossman here, Gotham Chess.
And what did you say?
And he says Svarta Hästen.
Svarta Hästen in
English.
Svarta Hästen. Okay.
Svarta Hästen.
So I go for Svarta Hästen. That's good. Okay.
So I guess, you know, we just go with the original name, and
we hope that people will learn Swedish quickly.
You know, if you go to a French bar with a French name, you say it with a Swedish accent.
Okay.
So
well, I go for Svarta Hästen with a little bit of an English tryout. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we are.
And do you have any favorite games so far? Was there something?
Well, actually, this Kronberowski that he won against George Meyer was a very impressive game. I mean, if we just take a look at it from let's see here now.
So
but now we're on.
Yeah,
we are live.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have the game that really, I believe, could be the most important game of the tournament between Blaton Galperin and Edwin Trost. They know each other very well. Been playing in many tournaments, and let's see what's happening.
They're both pretty young.
They are pretty young,
yeah.
both of them. Galperin is already a grandmaster, and is traveling around a lot, with not the least with Sivuk.
Mm-hmm.
Edwin Trost is the most prominent and promising young Swedish player. He's trying to become a grandmaster, of course. Is rather close to it, I believe. Mm-hmm. So here we have a little bit strange situation, because we have the Nimsu Indian, but with f3. There are many different possibilities for black to how to challenge this f3. That is a little bit unusual. But let's see here. So white is Edwin Trost and black is Galperin. Here you could see that he didn't play the King's Indian.
No.
That he hasn't played before. Mm-hmm. So somehow he would like to play something else against Edwin. And that's interesting, I think, So, because here, of course, the normal is to take on c3. Mm-hmm. That's the normal move. Because now when you go back, what about e4? So...
But in general, at this level, would you say that if you go to a Blitz tournament like this, mm-hmm. do you have in mind to use the same defense every game in general, or do you have? I think that
normally you do. You play your normal openings, but I guess that in this final game, like this is for me probably the most important game of the tournament. You play against someone you have played so many times, and probably Edwin knows what to play against Galperin or Plato. In this type of King's Indian structures. So let's see. So now we have a little bit strange position here, I guess. E5, threatening the knight. Yes, I like that. Knight f7. I guess f4. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Looks very.
And take on c4. Very. Because now you also, one move here is Queen b6 can be a dangerous. You give a check here, or threatening the knight. Yeah. But yeah, okay. He could have played knight b6, but then knight f3, check here, and king f1 could have been okay for white, because it costs so many tempos to do it. But it's just like this is very difficult when you're playing a Blitz game and you see all these possibilities. Now we have one. Normally I say that white has got a better position here, because you have a better structure here. Long diagonal down here. If you castle, maybe you can even sacrifice immediately on h7, knight g5. The only problem you have is that you cannot castle.
No.
Because the bishop is already here. So that's the question, how much is that worth?
Could be. And even if you get to castle, it still doesn't work.
No. If you can castle and play king h1, then it's fine. That's what you want to do with white. Because to play long castle might be even worse.
Yeah.
So I think that, maybe you could play queen e2, bishop b3, or queen e2 and knight e4. I guess that is the way normally. But okay, bishop b7, bishop e4, okay, not bad. Queen e2
to trade off the bishop, I guess.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Bishop e3, yes. It's a little. I don't understand this really. Why? But okay. b4 to take. Now it's a bit. I think knight d4, knight d6 check is there.
Where is white's king going? He can.
Yeah,
he has to trade the queens.
But on the other hand, knight c5 is a very nice square.
Oh yeah.
But then h5. Oh, this is a sharp position. Now he played a very interesting move.
This is a bold move.
That's a bold move. Now the question is what to play. Could also be that you should go for queen. No, you cannot play queen f2 because it's hanging on b4. Okay. Knight d6. Okay. He took.
But the idea black wants to have the king more active and risking being very.
No. They're also because if you can see that the only way for white to proceed is to swap off queens, then you want to have your king ready. So Now
Very
let's see.
nice strategic.
Yeah, this is so far it's a great game, I think, you know. But now the question is, can you play rook b1 here? Trying to go for this one. And the question is it weak, or you know, the f6 is a bit dangerous also. Red to go for this one. So this is difficult to play in a blitz game, I can assure you. Let's see the times. Yeah, Edwin has clearly better time, and this is typical for a good blitz player like him.
And this is the live position now.
Sorry?
This is live position?
This is live position, exactly. King g3. The idea now is also, one idea could be take on g3, f take g3. Now you couldn't take on e5, because then take back, king take here. You had a check, and you had the rook here and the king here. So you can see small tactical tricks here. And it's so easy when you play blitz just to fall down into these traps.
Yeah, that's why I mean, if you had a king now on g8,
yeah, but,
like
but it's better to have it here, for sure, you know, because otherwise it's just a way.
Yeah,
so
I guess they're good enough to to calculate everything.
Yeah, of course, but
I mean, for amateur, it doesn't look. I wouldn't recommend playing these moves just because you see these players play them,
exactly.
right?
That's okay. What happened? I just want to see here. Rook d8, rook e3, take. Now he could take. Yes, take. Okay, so it's been calculating on this, Edwin. This is, this is tough, because what is happening now is that you're threatening to go in here, and he has little time. You see. So, no, that is this one. Okay, it's tough. Bishop d5, rook check, take.
Exactly, you can double up on the pawn there.
Oh, this is tough, because now it could be like you can take here. But as you can see, I don't know what happened here, but
was a move, yeah.
What is
they played many moves now?
Okay, let's see.
They play fast.
Yeah, they play fast now, because now now you have this pawn here, but okay, this is a very tough game. Also because this is a very dangerous pawn, no? But on the other hand, you have rook b6. That's a good, that's a good one. And now you run with these. What pawns are the most dangerous ones? Which one? You know, if you play b2, you can play. Okay. Okay, what happened?
Traded.
Okay. And now you have, 2 pawns here, ready to go, but you can also give a check here maybe, and then go rook d4, and it's probably a draw. No, then maybe king h5. No, I think that actually I believe that. Let's see here. I think white is better here, but king g6. Now we can take on b2.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going for this. Oh my god, now he's losing. So, Edwin will win. But now, why did he do that? I don't understand here. Here. There must be queen to go for this one. Queen h7 check. Must be a win immediately, and then queen here. That would have won immediately. Check and here, huh? Now,
very little time.
Of course.
Now it says Edwin has 0, but maybe that's a
rook e5. But I still think he would be winning after king f3. Then he probably can give a check somewhere, and then put the king here instead. That should be winning. But okay. So let's see the other game. What has happened here? What has happened here? There happened so much. This was the game, huh? SEO. I just want to see here. Okay, this is a classical line.
What's the opening?
What was the opening? e4 c5, so it's this kind of so this is a dragon, but with this is a dragon, but a little bit slower dragon than normal.
Had exactly this position against the arbiter of the tournament yesterday. Playing Blitz.
Interesting, because this is more or less equal, but okay. Just want to see what's happening. Min is playing very solid, but on the other hand, no, actually he has got some. No, suddenly he just plays good. I don't understand how it's possible. No,
why can't you take?
Why I don't understand. Why didn't he go rook e7, try to keep the pawn?
Yeah,
that was strange also. Because now...
Yeah, you want to trade pawns. Like
okay, Jung-min won, Edwin won. Let's see the last part of this game. Yes, this was strange. Okay. Because now it's not easy. But he seems like he's one on time, I guess. And Jung-min won also. What happened?
He lost on time.
He lost on time, probably, yeah. Because now I think, again, now you can take on a7. That's very strange. Anyway, we have Edwin won the game.
Maybe he missed something.
Maybe he missed something. So let's see again. Because that means that Edwin won. And that means that he has got he's got 6 points. But still then, it's a tournament that will be alive. If Galperin would have won, he would have had 1 point ahead. So, but that makes it very interesting, because now Edwin will have, let's see here. Can we see here? Yes, Edwin has got 6 points. We have Galperin 5.5, Blomqvist 5.5, Jung-min Seo 5.5. After that comes George Meyer, and the surprise of the tournament so far, Sixten Strand, 5 points. Very well, very well.
Really good.
And look at the 4.5. We have Zivuk, Degerman, Bayon, Kramling, Berovsky, and Simon Agrets. That's good to see. Simon has got it in his blood, of course, by Yevgeny Agrets. This is his father, and his mother is also a known chess player. But yes, he can play, obviously. I guess not the least in Blitz. But that means that we have some really strong players underneath. So we will see a lot of clashes between Grandmasters and International Masters coming up also now. So this is far from over, even though I believe that it could be that Edwin, that is such a strong Blitz player, will
there's 5 more rounds, or
no,
13?
Actually it's 13. So 13 rounds, so it's six rounds more to come, and it will be tough games, all of them. Fantastic. This is great.
How does it usually work when you play this Swiss, that you play against a player with the same points, but can you play the same player twice?
No, never.
So that's why I said that game was so important, because
exactly
they're not going to play each other again.
Exactly. So and also now, because now in the end it will be like this, that 13 rounds is quite a lot of rounds. That means that in the end there will be weaker players that had to play against the top players, because they simply have played with each other already in the top. So that's why these rounds now can be very decisive.
Isn't it a bit of a weird system, because it means the last game will never be a proper final anyway?
Normally, when you have 13 rounds, you have more players.
Yeah.
So normally that is not a problem, Normally you have but here you have how many players do we have? 45 or something like that. I would say that when you have 42 players or something like that, normally you play maximum 9 rounds.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's quite cool to play 13. Then you really get a lot of games for the value of your money, and I like that. So I don't mind, but that also means that I guess the 2 final rounds could be against much weaker players for the top players. But we'll see.
I talked to some of the players. They are in pretty good spirit.
Yeah.
It seems
I
like
think
they
it's
like
it's every game is hard fights.
Yeah.
So for not the least as a commentator, this is fantastic to see.
I think it's okay for them to play on the red and yellow squares as well.
I think they they accept. Of course, it's different if you play like a traditional classical tournament. This, even though this is like there are strong players here, it's still a little bit of fun as well.
Yeah, of course.
So it's more relaxed than if you play like traditional games. So that's fine. And also they know it in advance. That's the point. Then it's normally no problems. So yeah.
Oh, great.
And
so we have all the GMs in the
probably
top 10.
We'll see, because here we are just moving on from game to game. So let's see if we now have. No, where do I find? Well,
should pop up soon, no?
Round. Here we have round 8.
Yeah, it's not live
so okay, that's cool. So what will happen now is that in this round we will have Jungmin Seo playing against Edwin Trost. They know each other very well. And then we have Galperin against Meyer. I think that Meyer has not. I'm not been so impressed by his play so far, but of course, he has made some points. But maybe now he's ready. So let's see here.
Is it high? Do you feel a lot of pressure when you're the highest rated at the tournament?
Well, not in a BLITZ tournament.
No,
I would say then it's more okay. Okay, here we have a line that is not the most common, but in this position, for example, here, d6, you can go for knight bc3, knight b3, c3, and we are into more or less the Sveshnikov or something like that. But now it's a little bit more of a tricky opening, because the question is where to go with this one. And the knight here, should it go for d5, or how to get out of the pieces? Bishop b7, everything is logical. Yes, you take. I thought so, because now the idea is that this knight could go to c3 in one move. So, but this is from when I studied this, but I haven't studied openings for 20 years, so I wouldn't say too much. But then I couldn't find any real prospect of an advantage for white in this one. This is also a classical move, because not only do you get the bishop away from being taken by the knight, but also you take this square on e3, so there cannot be a knight on e3, and that can be important sometimes. So knight d2, castle, bishop. Okay, put it on. He did choose to play it on d2.
Yeah.
But also, if you put it on c3, a little bit those two knights are fighting for the same squares.
Yeah.
So sometimes you want to go for here to go to c4 or something like that.
Because you really don't want to trade it off on e3.
No.
If you have to.
No, well, exactly. So castle, bishop d3, bishop e6. Okay. Now it's more like, black has found. I think that black has just played normal moves.
Yeah.
I remember that sometimes h4 was of interest. Because if you take with the bishop, you have queen h5. So sometimes h4, then bishop h6, sometimes g4. I remember, at least I was looking at this type of variations.
And is white looking to long castle? Or?
No, that's the question. If you don't play h4, I would say short castle, normal. But yeah. Okay, I think that with knight c3, white is saying, okay, I haven't got any advantage. I just play a normal move, because now sometimes also the thing is, you can wait with this, because sometimes if g6, that is the normal move to play here, if white has played castle, then you probably play g6 and f5. But g6, then h4 can be dangerous, because you have the rook behind and then a5. So, okay, knight d4 looks normal. I think that Edwin is playing logical moves. Okay, queen b6, everything is to me very logical. White has got no advantage at all. I cannot see. Rook c8, just simple chess. now g6 comes. You know, you could see that as soon as castle came, black was ready for g6. That's the normal move.
What's the plan for white?
Exactly.
There is no.
I would say I would prefer to play black in this position because I think that he has just played some, you know, in the end maybe you have to take on d4, but you know it's hanging. You know.
Like where are you developing the queen?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. I think he will go back now. Yeah. So he has got no plan. He was just waiting. So black is better. Let's look at the time. Edwin has got better time. That's good for him. King, solid move again. a3. Okay, now he comes with this idea again. Go back. Okay, this is what he wanted. But now on the other hand, now we have a little bit interesting structure here. Because now this can be in danger. Sometimes b5 or something like that can come and you're threatening to win the knight, or bishop d7.
You're threatening it right away, no?
Yeah. But f4 is also...
Yeah, you can take it with the bishop, of course.
c3 came. Okay. He took okay. Knight c3. Now it's interesting because now at least white has got a little bit better pawn structure. Black has got 3 islands against white's 2. But black has got a pair of bishops.
Amazing pair of bishops, no?
Well, could be. And now, I mean, one idea could be sometimes to play knight d5 just to get rid of the pair of bishops. Another idea is f4, even f5 sometimes. Also, again, to make this become weak, or f4, e5, something like that. But I would say that knight d5 is the move normally, you know. But I still prefer to play black because black is active. That's what I would say. c6. Okay, knight b5. He wants to swap off. Yes. Another question is here. I would like to take with the pawn. The question is if it works. It can take on d6 maybe.
Wow, that's probably the last piece I would imagine to take on. No?
But if you take with the queen, you can take on a7.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, okay, rook take. Yeah. No, that's okay as well. f3. Here you want to take somewhere. Queen b3, yes. We're threatening to take on c3. Okay. h6. Now he will just keep the position, I guess. Black. Because if you play bishop c2, you can take on c, or you can even take on b2. Okay, I'm sorry. So, giving some air. Knight rook c5. Okay. So, now we can say that Jung-min has got little time. I'm pretty sure that Edwin will play on, because with so much better time, 7 seconds against 134, you just want to play. So, he will continue. But, of course, he needs to play good moves. But you want to get some tactical tricks. Okay, rook d4 also now. There are some different possibilities here for. Or maybe just bishop e5 is a strong move. Just to put it on these. h5. I like this move because h4 is a bit annoying. Because you can take the grip of the black squares here. That's a classical idea when you have lost this. I think h4 I would play here. Just to put down, you know, and to have the black squares, and then play bishop e5. Okay, that didn't happen. But f4 came, so now this can be a weakness on e4. It's still, there is no doubt that it is okay.
Try different pawns.
Okay, took on h5, huh?
I guess.
Bishop take f5. Okay, bishop e5 will come, I guess. Because you do not want to take on, yeah. Okay, bishop e5. Yeah, black is still better, but
he has no
he's
time.
he's actually fighting very well here, Jung-min, you know. He's into this with 2 seconds per move. So we need to, okay, what happened here?
Took. They play so fast.
But now he won a pawn here.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe this was very smart actually, because what is happening now is that normally when you have like a worse position, you want to get it more technical, or worse in time, I mean. Then you want to have simple moves to play, and this is what he managed to get now. So now the question, is there any trick for him to keep a pawn? Let's see. No. Okay, so...
He cannot...
But the king will come here, huh? Yes, king e3, a4, d2, a3, c3, a2, king b2. This will, I think he will manage to make a draw, actually. Impressive.
Wow.
Very impressive. So... Yeah.
The black king cannot run around.
Yeah, what he will do is to go up here. No, what he can do now is he can sacrifice here. Bishop take, and then he can rise. You know. So let's see. Yeah, that will.
He has to do it, or no? The black king. Oh yeah, I can defend it with a.
So what you can do here is to take on f7, bishop take, and then just put the king here. And you can give up all these pawns and it will be a draw. So it's quite an easy draw actually, because if you have a pawn and a bishop like this, then you need to cover up the promotion square to make it a winning. Let's say this move. What about this move? What is happening here? We just run through it quickly, because I'm pretty sure that will be a draw like this. Okay, so this is Galperin playing solid like this. Okay. And Meyer is playing quite a little bit passive, but solid also. We have a concession here to play h3, g4. This is really something you need to have control of if you play this type of moves. But on the other hand, white has got quite a strong... Okay. Okay, so he's... No, I mean, white is better, but it's probably not so easy to win. But I don't understand why he played like this. Meyer. What is... Did he lose a pawn as well? He's totally losing. What did happen here? This was really strange. He must have missed c5. Because now the knight is threatened.
Oh yeah, and it has to go back. Oh, okay.
Oh, this was not a good...
Wow.
He's not in the same shape I've seen him before. We just move on. This must be winning for white. It's just playing.
It's fighting.
But he's fighting well.
No, he's down a pawn still. Equal.
But he's giving up.
Oh yeah,
it's checkmate.
It's checkmate. Okay. Equal material though.
So, big mistake in the opening by George Meyer, and Galperin could win. No, I think this is a draw, actually. You can take on f7 and bishop take, and then just give up all the pawns.
Like and the result? Yeah, it was drawn. Okay.
It was a draw. Okay, so that means if we take a look at the... So, I think that he was a bit disappointed, our young hero, Edwin Trost. Okay, after 8. So then that means that we have Galperin, Blomqvist, and Trost with 6.5 points, and then Jeong Min Seo. That's interesting because we have the same guys in the top as before. So they are. That's interesting. And then Sivuk and Barovsky, 5.5. I mean, it feels like we have the top play. The fourth. I guess that we will have the winner in the top 4. I think here, you know.
Someone told me this tournament is higher rated than the Swedish Championship, the BLITZ was.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Crazy.
No. That wouldn't surprise me because you know, it's perfectly placed. It's also we have the tournament now in Upplands Väsby.
Oh yeah.
With grandmasters and players that want to come. So it's a perfect situation for a strong BLITZ tournament.
I'm actually going to check on the tournament, see if everything is running good.
Perfect.
Good job.
Thank you, Kalle.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Se till om du behöver något.
Absolut. So Let's see what we got now. Ready for the 9th round. No boards yet. Will come, I guess. I hope. So we wait a little bit. But we can see, if we look at the scores, we have Galperin, Blomqvist and Trost, and then Jungmin Seo number 4. So, and then Sivuk and Borowski 5.5 each. But it feels like the top 4 players are the ones playing best so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have the winner among one of those 4. Beside this, what do we have more as surprises, or what you could say? Okay, Pia Kramling down to 4.5 points. BLITZ might not be her favorite time playing, but still, I was hoping to see her against one of their top 4 players here. We can also see that. What more do we have? We have some surprises. Well, I wouldn't say that. I'd say we have also what I said that before. What is so fantastic with this tournament is that in the very top we have like famous grandmasters, but we also have the club players, and not the least we have players who has more or less only played online or played, for Svarta Hästen, the Black Knight, this venue that we are having this BLITZ tournament in. It's so great to see that we can show the broadness of chess, that everyone can play and have a good time. So I love that with this place. Let's see if they are ready for next round. 9. Not yet. We are still waiting. Okay, we're waiting for the 9th round. Hope they will come soon, but we wait. I'll put up on the mic here, so like that. I have a little bit something to drink. Okay, so let's go to see if they have started next round. No boards yet, so we are waiting to see. Okay, the pairing is not ready yet. Or maybe, let's see here. Round 9, okay. So now we will see Borowski playing white against Platon Galperin. We will see Edwin Trost playing white against Sivuk. That's a tough game as well. Then we have Xuan Beon playing white against Erik Blomqvist. Oliver Wedenberg playing against Jungmin Seo. And this is what happens when you have like this 13 rounds with 42 players. Then in the very end of the tournament, the last rounds would be normally against, stronger players against weaker players again, due to the fact that the strong players have already played each other. So I'm looking forward to see some nice games here, not the least Trost against Sivuk. I think that can be a key game for the end results. And then we have Galperin against Kronberg-Borowski. Borowski played a very good game against George Meyer, for example. But let's see if they have started yet. I want to see if no boards yet. We're waiting for the 9th round. Okay, here it came. Fantastic. So let's see. Now we have Borowski against Galperin. And again we have this King's Indian game. Rook e8, knight c6. Okay, strange. This is a bit special opening because normally this is very interesting game so far. Because because normally instead of rook e8 you normally play like e5 immediately, but rook e8 a little bit more challenging. Now Borowski tries to do something about that, plays knight d5, wants to take on c7. That's what's happening. Bishop f4. Okay, putting some pressure on. Take. Okay, because now it's a little, maybe e5 here could do the trick. Because if you play like, black is actually, white is, could be threatening to take on c6 and play knight e6, and the rook on b8 will be no, okay, maybe not. But you can see that there is this diagonal here, that so if you move the knight, it can be a bit annoying. So we must take a look at this game as well. We are here. Edwin Trost is white against Sivuk, and we have the Nimso Indian, f3, d5. Okay, this is the classical way of playing. Okay, b5, that's a tough move. Wants to undermine the white center. Knight e2 came. Knight f4. I guess this is a variation that Edwin has played before. I don't know it so well, but okay, it looks, I think that it all looks normal to me. White is trying to take some space on the king's side. No, f4, this is interesting. Normally when you play f4, you do not want black to control e5, like, so, yeah, okay. Maybe it's smart move. Take on c4. Now he had got this pawn back because black, the knight was needed to keep control of e5. But it's a little bit strange setup for white like this. So, but on the other hand, it's interesting position, because now also when you took on c3, now white has got a pair of bishops. f5. Okay, so he's ready to open up. One thing is, of course, that this pawn here could be a weakness that black could try to win. Bishop b5. Interesting. Now you are threatening to take on d7 and take on e5. Took on f4. Bishop take. Knight f6. Okay, again putting pressure here, but now you can even, okay, threatening to take on here, but okay, bishop c6 and then e5. Isn't that very dangerous? I wonder if you have seen that. No, d6 is hanging. Very tough game. Check. c7, fantastic move. Maybe it's winning immediately. Maybe this was a tactical trick that he didn't see. Oh, can you see if it takes here? You're threatening to take here and here. What a nice trick. I think that Edwin simply won. Fantastic. He's great with this type of tactical stuff. He's good in this. That was a very nice move, bishop c6, I believe. Because if you would have played like this, probably you could have played e5, and again you have this nice threat down here, and I believe that white is clearly better here. So he took on c6, now threatening to take on here. and now Sivuk did miss this lovely trick c7. He probably only calculated on ticking on d6 and then did a take, but this was lovely. Okay, well done. I like this. So let's see the other game. Berovsky against, here we have this position. What has happened? Okay, so what happened was like this. He took, and then he took on b2. That's interesting. Okay, but again, now white has won. This is simply, black is more or less winning in this position. So now it will be very hard for white to do this. There was some kind of strange opening for white in this game. You know, he tried to probably just to swap off pieces, but in the end Galperin had a great chance here. Okay, now it's a rook end game. Okay, they don't look very good, these pawns, but sometimes when it comes to rook end games, this is not the important thing, but what is important is activity. And in this position, even though of course it's not good, they are actually quite good against these pawns. It's hard for black to get like a post pawn. So let's see what happened here. a4. I cannot say. I don't know what is happening here. It should be that black should play for a win here, but and maybe with queen, you know, king c6 or rook d8 check and try to bring in the rook. Should be more or less winning for black, but you need to have some technique to do it. So I don't know what happened here. Let's see, maybe we should try to see what happened. Edwin won. Big surprise. Oliver Wedenberg won against Jungmin Seo with white. That was a huge surprise. And then probably Jungmin Seo is not the one to win this tournament. And then we'll see the other results, but that was the surprise of this round for sure. Then we are waiting for the result of Bayonne. Okay, so Galperin won. That was what I thought. It was almost a one position. Let's see but they stopped here, I think. Seems like they a4. Okay, no more moves here, but it is said that the result was that Galperin won. So then we have this nice fight between Galperin and Trost, and the question is if Blomqvist will join them, because they are now clearly ahead of the other players. Galperin won 7.5. Trost won 7.5, and what the question is, if Blomqvist made it, then there will be one of those three players for sure that will win this tournament, no doubt. So let's see. Okay. We are waiting to see. I would like to see the results. Okay, so we had Blomqvist won, of course. Then we have three players after the 9 rounds that will be in the lead, and that is Galperin 7.5, Trost 7.5, Blomqvist 7.5. This will be a drama to the final end, I believe. We have round 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 rounds to go before we can find the winner of this tournament, but I'm pretty sure that it will be one of those three guys, Galperin, Trost or Blomqvist. I'm excited to see what's happening. And okay, George Meyer won, Öhlund won, okay, and we're waiting for Anna Kramling against Aron Emanuelsson. Lisseng won, Vidar won, that's good. You won against Degerman.
Yes.
Yes. What happened in the game?
Well, we went into like Queen's Gambit accepted, but yeah, so it was really boring, and we got into a drawn end game, and then he just lost on time.
He lost on time.
Yeah, very convenient. He just didn't make his move, and yeah, it wasn't even a complicated position. He just forgot the clock. So that's very nice. I'm gonna do this,
of course,
because you haven't been able to see any chat messages.
No, I'm sorry.
I know there have been at least one chat, so I don't know why I can't see them, but maybe you'll see them from now on.
I'm sorry if I have not been able to answer your question, but it's your fault. Okay.
Yeah, it's my fault.
I blame all
everything is my fault.
I always blame you. Okay, that's
for sure. You should. Oh my god, I died.
So you're taking down the.
Why is there a spider in the?
Okay. Vidar is making life exciting. Perfect. So let's see again. So Galperin, Trost, Blomqvist 7.5, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on 6 points. Maybe the biggest surprise is Oliver Wedenberg, 1954. Very well done. He's played good, and now, like I said before, we are moving towards the final 4 rounds. But the strange thing is that the top players have already played with each other. So there will be players from below coming up playing with the top players. I guess that Joar Öhlund, Lisseng and the others, they will all come up to play one of the top 3. I'm impressed. They play so good, these strong players. Let's see, Galperin, he has 1 loss against Edvin, 1 draw and the rest won. Let's see, then we have Edvin lost 1 against Blomqvist, 1 draw with Jung Min. What about Blomqvist then? He has lost against Galperin. It's so interesting this, because they are, fighting each other's, losing to each other's, and it will be a great fight till the very end for sure. So we're waiting for the round 10 out of 13 here in Svarta Hästen, the Black Knight spring tournament. And yes, we are waiting to see if they will. I don't think they are ready for round 10. Let's see here. Okay, Platon against. That's interesting. Now it's 1 board only. So it will be Platon against Galperin against Wedenberg. That is a surprise, this pairing actually, but that's what's happening. Okay, so we have Galperin against Wedenberg. We have Joar Öhlund against Edvin Trost. That's quite tough also for Edvin, playing black against Joar, who is a strong player, just made an IM norm in this tournament in Upplands Väsby. We have Kristoffer Lisseng against Erik Blomqvist, Jung Min Seo against George Meyer. That is what we have on the top boards. And let's see what we can find here. Is there only... I just want to see if there is like... Okay, let's see now. So here we have Galperin playing white against Oliver Wedenberg. And now you can see the strange thing is that Galperin, who has been playing King's Indian the whole time with black, is now facing his favorite opening with white. So let's see what Is it really so? I'm getting a bit confused here if this is correct, because this is what Galperno has played all the time. No, this is the game from the other game. So this is not correct. Let's see here. Okay, so it's not correct. I'm sorry, this is not correct. We're waiting to see. They have simply not started yet. Okay, here we are. So here we have Joar Ölund playing against Edvin Trost, and White is playing double fianchetto, solid, of course, but normally you don't get any real advantage. But this might not. It might be that Joar just wants to have a playable, good position. And of course, there are ideas like playing for e4 or something like that in this position. Knight e5 is playing very fast, as you can see. E4 came, but of course, Edvin has played this type of positions many times as well. But Joar is one other thing that has struck me so far is that Edvin has nearly always been better on time, but in this case, Joar is trying to keep up his pace by moving quite fast. And this is what he's doing. He's playing very, very fast, actually. So now you can see that a4 was played. So black is, oh well, I like this move to play it on, put it on c6, where it's bedded off. And this knight normally wants to be on b5 in this position. So I don't know if knight b1 should come, but it looks a little bit strange. But you can see the square here for the knight. Would be interesting to put it here, I guess. But also the provocative of this move could be that sometimes you can try to go for rook d1 c4. Okay, but I would be a little bit afraid of this position, actually. What about if you play knight b4? No, it took, of course, it took there. Because if you take back with a pawn, you have bishop to d3, yeah? So, and now, knight d4. You almost must take on. Let's see here. Take on d4. I think you must take on d4, and then the queen takes. I believe. No, he didn't do that. That was a strange move. Why not take on b3 now? Why not take on b3? Take on b7. Rook b8. I mean, black is better in this position. It must be, because you have this pawn, backward pawn on d3. The question is, should you play rook a7, rook d7? Maybe that's an idea, actually. Could be. Rook b8 is also the simple rook b8. It's normal. I will play rook a7. Okay, I see. Okay. I think rook d7 will come now. Just to put pressure on this pawn. I believe that black is slightly better due to this pawn, but it's also okay. It's also okay for white. Yeah, because you have this weakness here. And it should be okay. I prefer black a little bit, but still, you can see rook d7 came. Okay. Let's see if we can see the other game. Yes, we can now, finally. So we had, this was, sorry, is it? Oh, ja, no, tack. Med mjölk. Mm. Okay, so we have here, that was, okay, let's see, we have, this was exactly what Wedenberg played in the first round, but he didn't have any real chance in that one. Now Galperin is playing. Oh, this, I mean, white already is, from my perspective, slightly better. I would be worried to play this. Yeah, you can see he's now losing a pawn. Now, this is not a perfect opening. Black is already almost lost. So this type of opening that, you know, simply do not work. Take on e5. Yeah. Okay, will be so many. Okay, he just played safe. Played probably bishop h6, and then f3. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kalle. Oh, we'll see. It's interesting. We have this, our hope of the tournament, Oliver Wedenberg, who, you know, only 1954, now playing on first board, now playing on first board against Galperi. Oh, wow. But again, he's playing this little bit, you know, dubious opening, like you can see here, this one, and you know, Galperi simply takes the pair of bishops and plays very strong, and soon wins a pawn here, you know, like this. And now it's simply game over. So very easy play for white in this game. Now play safe without giving any chances.
What are the normal, like in general, idea when you play against someone that is a lot stronger? Do you? No, is it bad to do something dubious?
No. There is two strategies actually that is established in long goal. Either you try to create chaos, because this will be a little bit, you know, you don't want to play chaotic positions when you should simply win. You want to have something if you're clearly better than your opponent. So that's one strategy. But then it needs to be real chaos, not that you just lose a piece or something like that. No. That's the problem normally, you know. The other strategy is to swap off as many pieces as you can and go for an end game. Because, you know, if there is too little pieces left, you know, it might be a technical draw that you can make. So that's normally that's what you say, that those are the two strategies to choose, you know. Because if you just play your normal game with, you know, complex middle games and so on, you will nearly always lose. So let's see. Yes, this is simple win. Totally okay.
Some activity.
No, he will play. I think no. Okay, he did that.
This is the live position now.
Yeah, but this he will win this. I'm pretty sure. So you have one pawn up, but it's play on both sides. There are weaknesses, and you have rook and bishop. So it's.
If they ever trade rooks, white is winning.
Yeah, more or less, I believe, you know. But of course, you want to calculate a little bit. You know, you need to be sure. So let's see what is happening here. Okay, let's see here. King g6. No, I just want to see.
Because it's interesting. I talked to Anna Kramling earlier, and she has one table because she is recording the games. So she actually doesn't know the rating of the players. So she played a tournament. She played a game, and she had no idea the opponent was like 2,300. And she was like, "Oh, good game. So what's your rating?" And she had no idea. And then she actually played better because she didn't know the player was a lot better than her, so she just played normal, and she had a very good position. I think she lost anyway, but still, like, she said she played like, you know, she would play against me or something. So it can also be very psychological too.
Of course, no, that can happen.
Change your play just because you're playing someone a lot stronger.
Okay, so here we have. This should be a draw. But I know Edwin, he will play for ever. But this can be, but no, it's actually getting something here, you know. I like this. He's a tough guy. You can see there, you know, he will continue. What is the time like? It's okay, 4 seconds. It could be that he's just playing a draw, but no, he took the pawn. He got the pawn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Did he miss that? Oh.
I guess when you're just walking around with the pieces like this, and that's a rook sacrifice, or is it a...
But now you're almost... I think you can even win with taking it. Yes, exactly. Game over.
Wow.
So this was...
Nice. Just like you said, just keep on playing.
No. But Edwin is so strong when it comes to blitz games. So, okay. So let's see what is the results. Let's see here. We can... Okay, so that means that Edwin won. I guess Galperin won, or did we finalize that? Did we say that? No, not yet. King d5, but he will win. Could just put it this way.
Yeah.
He will win. Yeah. So, okay. So that means if we take a look at the results, so we will have Galperin 8.5, Trost 8.5, and now actually Blomqvist lost against Christopher Lissing.
Oh.
This was a huge surprise, and that means that Galperin and Trost will have 8.5 and will be 1 point ahead of Erik Blomqvist, who is still the number 3, from what I can see. And George Meyer won against Jungmin Seo. Vidar, a draw against Sivuk.
I still can't believe I didn't win that.
Okay. You had a good position.
Yeah.
Anna Kramling won, that's great. Then she will come up to the top boards soon, That's
Vidar,
nice.
the Swedish Blitz champion.
Vidar. That's nice. He's good. Andy lost, but at least he got to play against the Grandmaster. That's nice.
Svarta Hästen
Svarta Hästen.
chess club member.
Andy Fang. Yeah, he's good.
He's really good.
Paroshev, Dimitar won.
Oh wow, yeah, also.
So he's coming up as well. That's good. Against, he's got 6 points.
Yeah, he's a very good.
That's very good.
He's probably one of our best Blitz players in the club.
Okay, that's good.
So very strong.
And Pia, not ready yet. But, Blitz is not her favorite, I know that. Let's see here. She won. Okay. So, let's see. What is this right? So, we have Galperin and Trost 8.5. We have Blomqvist 7.5. We have George Meyer, Lisseng 7. Okay, that's interesting. So, I'm not sure that Lisseng has played both Trost and Galperin. I'm not sure about that, so maybe he will be one of those playing against them. And Krumberovsky maybe will come up also with 6.5 to play one of those guys, Edwin or Galperin. That could be one possibility. But then you can see that those grandmasters like Sivuk and Jungmin and so on, they are not the best blitz players probably, If you compare with Galperin and Trost, 8.5, that's very impressive. Very impressive.
Who would you say is the strongest? Like in Sweden, do we have any?
Trost is really strong.
Trost is, yeah.
I believe, I said that before also. He was, I think when he was 12 or something like that, he won the Bullet Swedish Championship for seniors. That was really good. 1 minute games, like that. But still cool.
Still, wow.
No, he's, he's been the largest Swedish talent for a long time. Developing, of course. Now he's 18, and he wants to take the next step. And he tries to do it, and we will hope that he will be able to establish himself among the top Swedish players.
It looks very, very solid.
Yes, he is very solid.
You can just see it, like it just looks.
Yeah.
Just looks very
and you
solid.
could also see that from my point of view, he has made almost no tactical mistake. or at least compared to others, he has made fewer tactical mistakes, and that's great.
And just the game we saw when it was a draw with little time, and he just played really good moves, pressuring, and then.
And actually,
like
when it looked like this will be an easy draw, he could just keep on fighting, and putting the opponent into pressure,
Very Carlsen style endgame.
The Carlsen
techniques.
style. That's nice. Yeah. Actually, I was arranging this this training camp for talents where Carlsen was in.
Mm-hmm.
Edwin was there as well. So
I met him.
Yeah, so that's good. Okay, so let's see. There's nothing happened yet, huh? Wait. Here we have. So we have Christopher Lissing, white against Galperin. Trost against Borowski. Like I said, this is interesting because I think Borowski has played quite well.
And Blomqvist also.
Blomqvist against Meyer. Oh, that's okay. And then Vidar, our friend against Jungmin.
Yeah.
We have Carlos Tornberg, so that is coming up a little bit from beneath. Mm-hmm. And then Oliver Wedenberg has to show his strength against Joar Ölund. Jan Engfeldt.
Yeah, your old
against Kramling. We love that.
Yeah.
And then we have Bayon against Dimitar. That's interesting. So we have some really interesting game to look forward to. And let's see if we have some. See here, 11. Yes.
Only one of the games.
Yeah, it will not. I saw that it come up after a while.
Okay, maybe you can try and refresh the.
Yeah, but it because the last time I saw that it came up later on. You know.
Okay. This was the old position.
This is the old position. That's right. Yeah. So we are waiting to see if something is happening. We could have this someone up. So Lisseng against Galperin. Let's see. So Lisseng. Let's see if we can. Okay. So
there we go.
From the, it comes quickly. They move so fast. And yes, you can see that we have. Okay. Now this is a classical variation when it comes to that you try to you want to take the pair of bishops with black. The problem is that this is of course some kind of concession to have the pawns on g5 and h6. So in this type of positions the question is, can you make use of it? Quite often black wants to wait to take on g3 till white has castled, because if you take on g3 there might be an open h5. So here you have some tricks and
feels very like a Dutch position, but without the actual f5. No.
But also not the least the London system. Yeah. Then you can find this quite often. This type of setups where black is trying to hunt the bishop down. So d5. Okay, this is interesting. I thought about taking on c3 actually. Can you do? You did. Great. This is what I thought about, because this looks very strange maybe, but the point is that this bishop can be very bad. The question: will you play bishop g4 now? No, he played this. Okay, I thought so, because in this position white is threatening to take on g5. Yeah. But the question is, where do you want to have your king? I like this move actually, because what you will do is you will put it on c7, and here would be very safe. And then black.
It looks so strange.
Yeah, it looks strange, but the logic behind it is that first of all, now you cannot take on g5 because the rook is now protected by the queen. The other thing is that this is probably, you don't want to castle short side because you have the open h5. So the king is very good placed on c7, also because it protects b7. It's hard to get any attack for black, for white against the king. So it's, it looks strange.
Yeah, the white bishop is completely out of the.
And now you can see again, he will fix the pawns on the same color as this one. Now the king will come here. You will play b6, and now slowly you will move your pieces towards the king side. So you can see this is what's happening. I'm just moving on. Okay, g4. This is, you have to do something, because if black now can play like maybe even h5, maybe, then you can you will be cramped. And this knight, where shouldn't this knight go? Where should this go? So it's hard to find good squares for your pieces. g4. But the problem is now you put your pawn on the same color as your bishop again. So this bishop is like stuck. But on the other hand, this one is not perfect either, you know. But I guess you play bishop d7. Yeah, you did. Bishop d7, f3, and now e6. Yeah, that's logical. Black is better in this position. Oh, he plays quite good, actually. Knight f1, h5. Okay. No, black is better. Also because, you know, you can play like queen f6. And then putting a little bit pressure here. Rook d8, b6. Yeah. And then you also, one problem with this pawn here is that you have this. So one of those pieces must be protecting it, you know. So, okay, so let's see the other game. What happened here? So it's Edwin is white. Is this? Yeah, this is actually. I just want to see. Sorry, knight take d5. Okay. c5 take. Yeah, this is a theory line that I've seen before as well. Actually, they're playing fast. Borovsky is playing fast. So knight d2. The idea here is, of course, now you're threatening to take on d5. So you cannot take here because you simply take. So queen e5 now. This knight here is, you cannot take it because the king is like this. But knight e2, threatening to take the knight. So where should it go? It went here. Bishop c3. Okay. And now one problem is, I thought if you take here, maybe you can play rook c1, threatening to take here, and the bishop on here is weak. I mean, if you take like this,
so yeah, where can you
have like this, you know.
Wow.
So this is dangerous, you know. What happened?
It's really good.
He did that. He took that, and now time to think, I believe.
How do you?
Yes, how do you? How do you? I also want to know. I think that our little tactical monster Edwin Trost has simply
What do you do?
tricked him.
You castle or?
No, but then you take on f6.
You take back. It's a weak. Ah, yeah, of course. Or you take the pawn? Or?
So I think he simply gave up. Look at the time. Again 2:09. Now that was, oh my god.
Really good.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what happened here. No, Edwin won, as you can see. He simply gave up of 13 moves. Rook c1. Oh my god.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Okay, but this game, okay. I don't know why it's not showing anything.
Maybe he...
No, but there must be...
Lost some time?
I cannot lost some time here. This is strange. Galperin, Trost, Borovsky. Let's see here. Okay, Edwin won. 9.5. I don't know why, but it seems like there is some problems.
But did Edwin play against all the top players now?
More or less, I think we can take a look. I think we can look at what he has played with. Vidar Gran, Blomqvist, Martin Silva, Carlos Törnberg, George Meyer, Galperin, Theo Mings, Sviter. He has played quite a lot of the strong players, I guess, you know. And look at this. Against Meyer, Galperin, Jungmin, Sivuk, Ölund and Krum, he has only lost half a point. That's very impressive. That's very impressive, you know. No, that's good. That's good. But I'm a bit... It's too bad we cannot see the It's like nothing is happening here, you know. But do you think that he...
Should I check?
Something... yeah, because I can see that the time has changed here, you know. So there must be something, you know. I don't know what's happening here. So let's check if the...
Yeah.
Please.
Det är väl tur om när du pratar.
Det är Galperin.
Galper. Jag tar som en prov.
Va?
It might have been they added minutes to the clock or something. Maybe they did a wrong move. I don't know.
Så vad står det? Hur är positionen då? Okej. Ja. Och som står på förlust.
I think maybe they stopped the clock and
Okay,
I think maybe something happened.
So it's we will probably not be able to follow this game, huh? Between because there is no moves made, and I cannot see that they no. So
what would you have played here, like as?
Is it white to play?
White to play. He took h5.
Did it take with the rook?
No. The knight. He moved the knight there. No.
And it's white. It's white to play.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, what would you play? Like,
I was thinking about actually now. I saw one possibility here. I was thinking about f4, but it looks dangerous also. But maybe also another possibility could be actually to play g4. Because if you play like g4 like this, like this, and then you try to do something clever here, like no, I don't know. I don't like it actually. So we'll see.
F4 looks interesting, I think. No?
I was thinking about if you do this, maybe you can just play this. And that was why I stopped. Because if you take here, you know, maybe you can go like this. This is hanging. This is hanging.
Yeah, this is not good.
It doesn't look good. So I don't know. Did this happen?
No.
It says Queen f6. 1-0. What?
White won.
White won. What happened? White, what happened? Okay, we don't understand. Or at least I don't understand what happened here.
I can see if I can. But they're probably the last players to finish. I don't know if they have time to explain it.
Okay. If this is the correct thing, then we have this situation. We have Edwin Trost 9.5 after 11 rounds, Galperin 8.5, George Meyer and Chris. Listen, that means that Blomqvist lost against George Meyer. And
how did he win that?
Who? George Meyer?
No, Christoph.
This we don't know. With this we don't understand because we didn't see them.
I have to find them.
Find it. Find it, please. But it still looks like Edwin Trost is now solid lead and should have a good chance to win the tournament, I guess. But we'll see. So we have the pairings for round number 12.
I found Christopher.
You found Christopher.
Hallå
Christopher. Då ska vi se, vad hände i ditt? Varför we are in doubt. What happened?
Froze here.
Here it froze like this.
Okay, I'm trying to remember.
Because you continued from this position, I just guess.
And you won the game?
Yeah,
right,
somehow I won the game. It's very complicated. G4 King of.
But did you play G4? Did you?
Yeah, I played G4.
But you didn't play Queen F6.
No, there's somewhere because I know that I played G4 and then King F2, but it's not in this position, so I'm not sure about the move order here.
Okay, but what
this
happened?
This is English stream, right?
Yeah, that's good. otherwise, I would have speaking Skånska instead. So don't worry. But what happened in the game then? What was the thing? I mean, if we'd more like you, what happened? Did you trick him on a piece?
No, I kept defending my king side, and then suddenly he didn't have a way to break through, and I got some momentum, and I took on e6, and then I got my bishop to f3, and my queen was threatening to go into d5, and then I tricked him again later because I won his queen for rook. But okay. I can't really.
You can't remember. That's fine.
Yeah, because the move orders and stuff. I had like 5 seconds here, so.
Of course.
But I think you have to play now.
Of course you should.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck. Det är taskigt att låta honom komma när han har sitt viktigaste parti någonsin mot playing against Edvin.
Because I know the players, but I don't know all the players by the face.
Of course.
So I asked for him at everybody, and he was next to me. So that's a really good win.
Fantastic.
He will gain a lot of rating in this tournament.
Fantastic.
And now he has.
Now up to challenge.
Big challenge.
So Edvin is 1 point ahead. And then it's Galperin against Juan Bayon.
Can Edvin secure the win now?
Maybe. Well, if he wins, he would secure the win but it could be shared, I guess, Because you can see here 9.5, Galperin has 8.5. So, yeah, looks good. So we're waiting for the game that if Edvin will win this game with white, at least he will share first place.
And Juan is up at the...
And Juan is coming up. But again, don't forget that Juan has got 7 points. And Galperin has 8.5, 8. But again, they have played each other, in a way. So George Meyer against Sivuk, this is also an interesting game. No one of them have had like a really good tournament, but at least George Meyer in the end has come back a little bit because he lost some bad games in the beginning, but now he's on. So let's see if Sivuk can challenge him. And then Blomqvist wants to come back playing against Lars Degerman. That could also be interesting game. So let's see down here we have Pia 5.5. Okay, Anna 6.5. Okay, against Kronberowski. That's interesting. So the question is, who will be best in the family? Right now we have Bayon at 7 points, Anna 6.5, and Pia 5.5. Hard fight.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know whom to bet on. Let's see here. See if we can.
But Anna had a game against Juan earlier. No.
Yeah, she lost actually.
Oh.
So. I thought it was going to play. Okay, now we're on. Let's go.
Spoiler.
So we have here. Okay, so Christopher chooses to play the Dutch. Your favorite. You love this. Okay, and now
the
stone wall structure. It's not
my favorite, but
it's not bad.
Probably a good choice.
Here I normally play like b3, and then your queen e7 is the classic.
Yeah.
And because you should not allow bishop a3. But okay, let's see here what happened. Knight c3. I know that Edvin has got control of this. Of course, plays this. That's interesting. Why not b5 here? I don't understand. But okay.
Prove the queen first.
But this, I'm not so impressed by this, by Edwin actually. But he's very strong, so.
He has an idea, I guess.
No, but sometimes you even played like g5, g4. And this.
Like the d7 knight is a bit. It's blocked by its own pieces.
Mm-hmm. He's winning a pawn. Look at that. That's nice.
Oh, that's a very nice tactic.
Because the idea is that.
Oh, it takes back.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
Wow, this is really nice. I love this.
Ooh.
Maybe this was actually very strong for white in the end, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's far from clear, this, you know. This is a
Wow,
very cool game.
What a counter sacrifice.
Yeah, what a counter, you know, because then you can now. Okay. And you should take here, I think. But then what is
take with the queen?
Take with the queen. And now the question is, now you can play rook fc1, swap, and then what is that position like? And then rook a5. This can be very weak, this pawn. So the question is if he has got something good here. This is really cool. Rook fc1, take here, rook take, and rook a5. And this is weak.
Christopher is playing really well.
He's playing really well. I think it's only because he came up to us.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we gave him all that was needed for him. Yeah. Exactly.
He forgot about being nervous.
Yes.
So good.
So good. But still, this is not easy to win. I think maybe you could take here and play a5 or something like that. It will not be easy to win, I can assure you that. Yes.
That's a solid idea.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Is white better still, or?
Black is pawn up, so black is clearly better.
Oh yeah.
But I just say it's not easy to win this, you know. But now he's going for knight to c4. Maybe you have to play a6 now. Yes. Because otherwise, you know. And now the question is what to do. Should you play like b5 to be tough? Actually, sometimes this can actually be, but it's a little bit dangerous. And the question is, what is the time like? Well, okay, not so. Christopher actually has got quite good time.
They both have.
We must follow this game. I wait a little bit with the other one because this can be deciding the because if
Christopher wins.
I mean, if Christopher wins, you know, then Edwin is. It will be like equal with Galperin, and it will be a fight till the very end. And even he played b5. You see.
Yeah.
But now he will play like rook a6 and this. Oh, this is dangerous play. Oh my god. This is really dangerous, you know. I mean, even sometimes you can even play like this, rook a6, threatening to take on c6. So I believe rook a6 now is really dangerous. Rook a6, I would be very, very nervous actually about that. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because now you threaten to take here, bishop take, rook take, rook take, bishop take here.
Takes,
check.
yeah, with check. Yeah.
Now he can do it.
Yeah,
he can do it. He can do it. Oh my god! Knight takes 6/6. I think it's winning.
Yeah.
It's actually winning for white, I believe.
Or if take. Yeah.
Yes, it's winning for white. Oh my god!
And he have to. Yeah, he has to.
Come on, Edwin. Come on, Edwin. Will you do it?
Can he take? No, I cannot take with the.
Oh, he did miss that. That's a surprise.
Maybe he's calculating, but it's. If you see it, I guess you will play it right away.
Yeah, he will. No, but he will. He doesn't.
He has
want
time. He has time though to.
A little bit to think about the position. So let's see. Take on c6. Come on, Edwin. Yes, he found it. Knight takes c6,
Really
very
nice.
well. And now the question is, because now from a strategic point of view, white is better again, you know? Two, rook takes c6, exactly.
There's no in between moves here. No.
And now you have, you know, rook b1. Exactly, you will win the pawn. And you will have a good chance to win. Maybe you should play like rook c7. And if you take on b5, or knight, okay, you can play bishop. Knight to d6, take on b5, and there will be a rook endgame. And this will not be an easy rook endgame, I guess, for neither of them. And Edwin will continue to play, so let's see.
I guess
Christopher has got very little time.
They traded rooks really fast. But I guess the bishop is very superior in this.
No, because this is not so clear. Because one thing with this position is that the knight is good when you have the pawns on the same side. So here the bishop cannot dominate. But most likely this will actually be a draw now. I believe so. But Edwin will continue to play, also because this pawn is on the same color as this one. There are some chances for sure. But here, bishop here, and bishop f3. It will be like that, I guess. Yeah, bishop c2. Like
anyway, you can sacrifice the bishop for a pawn, like, because I cannot move the...
No way. No way. Ah, that was a lovely move, because now if you play king f6, you could play e4. Then the knight is hanging. So he's trying to... Yeah, but this is a draw position for sure. King d4, I'm pretty sure he will play this. Yes! Oh, I didn't say that one. How could this? Here, he should have played... I thought he should move his knight somewhere, you know.
Yeah, to block the...
No.
And this is...
No, I think he has got a good chance. Now he will win even the pawn,
yeah.
No. It's hanging here as well. No, it's hanging here. So maybe... So it was a draw. Fantastic!
Wow, what a game!
I love it.
Double knight sacrifice.
But we must say that here, you know, we must take a look at this position here.
But I wonder if Edwin saw the sacrifice.
This.
But I mean the position before also.
Yeah. He saw that. Yeah, he saw that. He was preparing for this one, but this was nice. But I just want to see here. Yeah, took. But here he could have, I think he could have played better here. I'm not sure. Somewhere. Maybe you should have played f4 in this position.
And like a theoretical, like 4 against 3.
No, this is a draw.
This is a draw.
Yeah,
okay.
It is. But you know, it's
with perfect play.
Perfect play again. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to check. Yeah.
Okay, good. I love this. Let's just quickly take a look at this. Galperin is white. I'm not surprised that he is a very strong player. So, and our friend Sean Bayon is, you know, he plays sometimes some strange openings. So it's very dangerous, but still, you know, if you got your pieces out. Very strange. Very strange, but it looks like white is simply better now. What's happened here? Oh my god. Yeah, okay.
Oh, you won
so,
like this.
Let's go and see.
That means probably Galperin is catching up.
No. Not totally, because he's half behind, half a point behind Edwin. Let's see what is happening with Blomqvist. If he wants as well, then he also no, sorry. So it's Galperin who is half behind. George Meyer won against, so he's actually
coming.
So that's interesting. So let's see here. So we have Edwin 10 points, Galperin 9.5, Meyer 9, Lissing 8.5, Ölund, Joar 8 points, Blomqvist 7. Did he lose again? Let's see here. He maybe hasn't finished yet. That could also be possible. Okay, so we have Joar won against Jungmin Series, really down, you know. What happened here? Did Anna win? Yes. Why did Anna win? It seems like, walkover. Dimitar lost against Kim Nygren. Okay, Joar won. Okay, Wedenberg lost now. Vidar won. So let's see again if we can find out. So here we can see, okay. So Blomqvist won, okay, so he has got 8.5, 9.5, 10.
Is Anna still playing? I don't know.
No, that's strange. So, for the final round, we have got Edwin on 10 points. Then we have Galperin 9.5, George Meyer 9, Lissing 8.5, Blomqvist 8.5, Joar Ölund 8, Kramling Bejon 7.5. Not bad. Not bad. Before, like Sivuk, and she's best in the family, is she?
Yeah.
No, yeah, best in the family so far. Fantastic.
With half a point.
So where is Pia? Pia 6 points. Okay.
Yeah, well, this is coming down
this
to the
is
last...
going to be so interesting.
So
but we want to see the last round, and it will be Joar against Galperin. It will be... What? Where is our friend?
Trost is playing Anna Kramling.
Trost against Anna Kramling. Interesting.
I guess he played all the other...
Of course. On board
wow.
7. This will be a challenge for Anna.
And that will be recorded on Anna's channel.
That's fantastic. So now you are lucky, because then you can get rid of me to see the final game.
It's not live though, so you have to watch it afterwards.
Okay.
It's gonna be...
But still, it's going to be great. So let's see here. So we have like this. Let's see here, round 30. Galperin. We only have this one?
Only have one.
No, Schwann.
It's from the last round.
From the last round? No, it's not.
He didn't play Mayer, no?
No. So actually, is it because that Anna is showing it, so they don't let me show it?
No.
Okay.
But I think because it doesn't have to be the two highest players on the feature table.
Actually, so that's why. So they cannot show this game of Anna and Trost because they are only showing the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a bit strange because I want to see the final game of this tournament, but okay. So it's a bit strange now because in the final game we have the sole lead, Edwin Trost, playing black against Anna Kramling. And unfortunately, I cannot show this game, but don't worry, Anna will record it in her channel, and there will be so many more viewers, I can assure you, than looking at me, an old guy like me. So that's great. Anyway, so instead we have to have a look at Joar Ölund against Platon Galperin on board 1, and the father of Anna, Schwann Bejon, playing against George Meyer, and this is also something to look forward to, of course. Meyer is the highest rated player. His player's been a little bit up and down, but in the end now it seems like he has
like nine points in this tournament.
No.
Strong.
But that's what I mean. I think that if we take a look at his, you can see here, you can see he's won 1, 2, 3, 4 games. The last 4 games, and that's of course very strong. So it seems like he's keeping up pace now.
But still, if Edwin.
But if
Edwin has to draw or lose, otherwise he will.
No, Edwin, I think that, and of course against Anna, there is no doubt he's a big favorite, of course, he's much higher rated, and Edwin is also a very good blitz player, but of course Anna is playing blitz all the time on her channel, so she's got a routine as well.
Her online blitz rating is think like 2400 or something on chess.com.
Okay, that's good.
And she streams at the same time, so like she's
not bad. Not bad.
She's become a really, really good.
So we are waiting for. At least we want to see Galperin against Joar, because if Joar is winning this game, I mean Edwin has got a chance to win even though he's losing or something like that.
Yeah.
Because let's see here, this one, because Joar, let's say Galperin 9.5, Meyer 9, and we have Edwin 10 points. So George,
But that's what I mean with we talked about it before, the Swiss system that you cannot face the same player twice.
No.
It makes the last round.
But I can tell you one thing: there is no such pairing system where you can have the same opponent twice.
Okay.
We never have that normally. So because we have beside Swiss there is the Monrad. That is the classical other one. Then you just throw in everyone, and in Swiss the difference is that you cut it in two parts and let the number ones play against each other. That's the thing. But okay, so let's see. Can we? Okay, now they started. Great, final round of Svarta Hästen chess tournament here in Stockholm, and we have a final game. Edwin Trost playing against Anna Kramling, but I cannot show that game. But instead we have to see the number 2, Platon Galperin playing against the very promising guy Joar Öhlund, and we can see here that Öhlund is playing. Yeah, he played like this against Edwin as well, like this solid, and okay, so it's very symmetrical. A6, now something has started to happen. Okay, waiting for D4 to come. That's it. So now we have the three you put your pawns on the 3rd row, on the 6th row, like this, and white will have a little bit more space in the center, but black can go for like pushing B5 sometimes or something like that. The question is if white wants to play E4 or not to take control. Let's see what's happening. H3, knight C5, rook FD1. Here you normally play like, let's see, queen C7 or something. I think this is absolutely okay for white, but I also
That's a bit strange.
That's interesting move. Let's see.
Is it a sacrifice?
Because if you take with a knight, I guess you can play like knight. Can you play knight D5 then? He took it actually. That's interesting. What? There's also bishop A6. Go for this one.
Just get.
So the question is how to protect. But then maybe knight D4, threatening the rook as well. He's just playing on. That's it. He's just sacrificed a pawn. Very surprising for me. Very surprising. But okay. So some compensation you have actually, but I cannot see much here.
No, you just go back.
Okay, so knight E4 could be to put pressure, because if you take, there will bishop take B2. I guess you could play queen I5, B4 is not good. So maybe it is knight FE4. I don't understand why. How could he just do this move? We just sacrificed the pawn like that. That was very surprising to me. Queen B6. Do you threaten to play E5?
No, he has two pass pawns. So.
I think it is knight. It must be knight FE4 here. No, knight T5. Okay. Because if you play queen D2, you take with the bishop here, bishop and knight E4, and you will win a piece. So it's actually some tactical tricks here. Take.
But he wanted this position from the.
No, because now he's got two pair of rook B1 will come. And then he goes back here, and it's got a pair of bishops.
against 2 pass balls.
Yeah, but it's very, very different. Those are more, quite often they are very difficult to push, you know.
Yeah.
But that was maybe a good move actually, because you put a little bit of pressure here. Yes. And then knight g5, h6.
I guess it's still black who has to prove
Absolutely.
they can do.
Yeah. But you should know that these can be, you know, it's trying now to do something, but it's not, you know, you can say that it's not easy to push them.
Yeah.
Because the knight will take here if possible. So some compensation, but I cannot believe. I would play something like maybe bishop knight to d4, something like that. But queen b6. That was. I didn't like this move. That was very strange. I don't understand that move. Why did he play that? Why did he play that? Because now there is some pressure on this one. Maybe queen should be.
He's threatening to take the knight, no?
Playing. But now you can take on d5.
And you trade
take
queens.
Here.
Yeah, trade queens. Yeah.
What?
Go back and
what?
see it. Trade queens.
He took a bishop. Now he wins a pawn. Wins a knight.
A piece. Yeah.
Piece. Oh, this was terrible. What was this? Now bishop c3. But this is terrible. Oh my god.
Should I go and see how Anna is doing and see?
Oh,
because
yes,
now Galperian has same points.
Exactly. My god. Tactical mistake by Joar Ölund. I'm sorry, not good. Okay, in this game that I'm following now, you can see that Juan Bayon is playing white against Meyer, but Meyer is clearly better. I think this will end quite soon. Knight g5 and so on. Yeah. No, it's terrible.
Edwin won the game. Just won the game.
He just won the game.
He just won the game.
So we have a clear winner of the tournament.
But it looked like interesting, like Anna's up the exchange. Against the pawn or so, but then she had a very difficult position, so looked like an exchange sacrifice.
Yeah.
Into
okay. Now this is just crushing.
Yeah.
So Meyer will win, so he will get to 10 points, and then we will have got 10 points. Galperian will have 10.5, and Edwin will have 11. That will be probably the final ones. But this is terrible. Take on f3. No, it didn't. Okay, just keep up the pressure. This is crushing. He's ready to go for. Oh my god! Losing the queen.
Probably gave up here.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. That he will give up. So
a very well played.
Meyer now Meyer played. So let's see here the results. So Edwin won. That means that he will win the tournament on 11 points out of 13. Very well.
Really strong.
And then we will have. Christopher won again. Fantastic! Great tournament. So and then we will have. Galperian 10.5. Meyer will have 10. And then is it actually Li Seng 9.5? Yes.
Looks like it's
9.5. Anyone else 8.5? No. Blomqvist. It depends on Blomqvist, of course. If he wins, he will also get 9.5. Okay. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. Let's see if we can find out. So Galperin won here. Blomqvist, we are waiting for Blomqvist to see. Jungmin won. Okay, that's good for him. Edwin Lars Degerman against Asimagrast, okay. Oh, Kronbrovsky, it's obvious that he has walk over.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's
so
out
that's
of
why.
the tournament, that's why.
Oh.
Too bad. Okay.
And our friend Dimitar won against Jon Engfeldt.
Where is that Dimitar? Where is he?
12.
Number 12. Oh, that's good. He's making a great tournament.
Yeah. But he like his rating is
far too low.
76, but it's way too low. He just got. He's a very good.
I think he was playing in the team for us when I played. That's good.
He's a good bullet.
So that's it. So we are waiting to see. Just want to see Blomqvist, and then we will soon have a result. Okay, here you have. Okay, so Edwin Trost, the winner, 11 points. Platon Galperin, 10.5. George Meyer, 10 points. Christopher Lisseng, 9.5. But we are waiting for Blomqvist to see if because he's not. So I don't think this is absolutely clear yet. There's one game, it's Nygren against Kim Nygren. Kim Nygren is a tricky player, by the way, I can tell you.
Mm. And now if Erik won.
Erik won, so then we have 9.5. So we have Edwin Trost, Platon Galperin, George Meyer, Christopher Lisseng, together with Erik Blomqvist. And then there's a huge drop down from these 5 down to Jungmin Seo, Vitaly Sivuk, Joar Ölund. And I think with that, I call it a day.
Yeah.
So
thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Kalle.
You've been talking to yourself for like 4 hours.
Yeah. Like I always do. You know, I have no other to talk to. So thank you very much for watching us, and I'm sure there will be new tournaments and events here at Svarta Hästen in the center of Stockholm, the Chess and Wine Bar.